Hey, Broad Coven. How you doing? It's been a while since we've done one of these, but I want to bring a lot more of this back in. In fact, there's going to be quite a bit coming in as we enter this next cycle with the new moon that kicks off in Gemini on June 7th. And Gemini is kind of the star of the show right now. We do have Jupiter in Gemini, where it's going to be traveling for a whole year. And I want you to really understand the significance of this particular transit and the effect it's going to have, because the last time that we had Jupiter in Gemini was way, way back in June of 2012 through 2013. And if you think back to that time, there was quite a few developments in quantum physics. We discovered the God particle back at that time. Okay, so there could be some new developments, some further innovation in the area of quantum physics. Perhaps we're really going to get adept at mastering those timelines, learning how to time hop. There's already some interesting stuff happening and some fluidity around reality. There's a lot that's shifting, there's a lot that's developing, there's a lot that's in a state of flux and innovation at this time. It was also the time we were facing similar themes as we were back then. There was definitely a lot more focus on Mayan culture. And if you remember back then, everybody was talking about the end of the Mayan calendar, and everybody had their predictions. Were we going to face the end of the world? And right now we're currently moving through the age of the Kali Yuga. So there's a similar vibe operating at this time as well. Okay. So all of these themes are coming back around the bend in one form or another. And in fact, you may even notice that where you had some blockages or something didn't progress or you didn't have all the pieces to a particular puzzle back at that time in your life, this may actually open up an opportunity for a breakthrough as we enter this cycle. So we're entering this energy now, okay? And June 2nd, we do have a trine going on with Jupiter in Gemini, trying that Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this is really going to be that time that we start to pinpoint where we are in need of making some adjustments. And this is in particular in the area of innovation, thinking outside the box, figuring out what we need to do differently. We initially had some innovation come in for us back in April, if you were, moving in harmony with the energy that was available then with Uranus on the scene. So we have this kind of coming to a place where that Jupiter and Uranus conjunction that was back in Taurus then can be taken to the next level. It's an opportunity to expand on whatever ideas came in for you back then. And this will highlight for you with Jupiter in Gemini the pathway to expansion. So now is the time to sort of like look at how things have been progressing and understanding where you're coming up against blocks and how you need to move differently. What's in favor at this time? What is going to be coming into alignment at this time? Well, signposts, but they're not in the usual way that you would expect signposts, okay? So there's a lot that's coming up in the area of communication, but it's through reading the energy. It's through reading your environment. It's through noticing things like communications that you overhear when you're out and about. It's about reading the room, the energy of the room. It's coming in through protagonists that inspire you and what role you're playing in your own life. Are you the protagonist or are you the antagonist in your story? What role are you playing in others' stories at this time as well? It's also coming in the form of guides. These could be spiritual guides. These could be mentors. These could be plant ally guides. You might become a bit of a psychonaut. This is coming in through nature, synchronicity, and different sources of creativity. And if you dig deep enough with a Pluto in retrograde cycle, you will unearth some buried treasure, okay? You can pluck a jewel from those depths, but it does require you to think outside the box, okay? So now is the time to, try on an alter ego for size, experiment, Do some role playing. This can benefit you. Create your own reality tunnel. Try different things out online. Open yourself up to a broader network. Open yourself up to further communication, reaching outside of your usual circles. This is an excellent time for writers. It's great for getting your message across, especially if your message is outside the box or if it's different, if it shakes things up. Those who kind of stick within the parameters are going to find that they're falling off, okay? Because this is a time that really does favor those who are leading the charge into the Aquarian age. And this is what Jupiter and Gemini is going to help us move into. We're learning to communicate in a new way. We're communicating archetypally. We're communicating through playing with the energy, you know, not having to be in such defined roles. We're entering a new kind of flow. And what goes down for us in Uranus, in Jupiter, in Gemini next year, okay, is going to be the stuff that, you know, will be the result of these insights, musings, the synchronicity signposts that come in for us. It's going to be kind of like a back to the future moment for what will go down for us then, okay? So it's like, it's almost like you're going to be getting messages from your future self as you enter this cycle, and it's going to illuminate a lot for you, okay? We do have that Jupiter trine Pluto and Aquarius coming in that will really highlight the new energy getting kicked off with that new moon in Gemini on the 7th, and it'll be further highlighted by a Sun-Venus alignment, okay? So there is an opportunity to sort of light the path up ahead, but if you're getting stuck in doing things the way they've always been done, if you're not willing to shake up your view, if you're not willing to try something new, you will be left behind, okay? There's a lot that we'll be opening up to for those of you that are in business, but again, it's about doing business in a new way. Any kind of career path, the more outside the box you can go, the better off you are, okay? Weird is the way. This is a time that favors those who are rebelling against the current modus operandi, let's say, okay, and carving out their own way in the world. So I really wanted to just sort of like play with this energy. I think it's really cool. I've already been noticing this coming in. I've been noticing the way time's been shifting up. It feels like it's simultaneously speeding up and slowing down, if that's even possible. It's entering that sort of liminal space again. We're familiar with this territory. A lot of that has to do with the deep dive into Pluto retrograde. And so we're simultaneously closing things up as we are moving into greater expansion, and we're inventing the new as we go. We don't have a game plan. We've never been in this terrain, okay? It's brand new territory. So again, the more creative you can be, the more you can play with the energy, the better off you're going to be. And so I thought we'd just have a little fun with this and do an all signs read. These aren't going to be really in-depth reads, but we're going to tap into each individual sign and get you a message about what's going to be unfolding for you over the next year, as well as where you might spot your guidance, where you might spot your messages coming in. Do pay attention to where you have Mercury in your natal chart, because that's really going to be highly aspected during this time. It's really a boost to anywhere that you have your Mercury placements. Likewise, those of you who are ruled by Mercury will definitely feel the advent of change and the need to do things differently than you have before, okay? Try the path less beaten, all right? And you may carve a new trail through the wilderness that leads you to somewhere you never expected to wind up, but you'll be quite happy by the time you get there, okay? So dynamic times, but I think we're ready for it. And I'm going to go ahead and put the banners on for each individual sign. And since it is Gemini's solar return, and they are kind of the star of this show at this time, they're going to go first. And we're using the Arcane BS deck because it felt appropriate to me. You know, we got to be creative. We got to be willing to be playful, think outside the box, look at things in a new way. And so I thought this would be the perfect deck to use for this all signs read, okay? So what is coming in for Gemini with Jupiter in Gemini? What's coming in for them this year? How are they being asked to innovate? Where will they get their messages? Where will their signs be coming in that light up the way for them to step into their future? What is coming in for Gemini? Oh, Arcane BS. Let's see here. Okay, bottom of the deck here. Ooh, we got the pyramid-headed bird. So there's definitely something that you are calling into being here. There's something you're manifesting here, but it's a little bit of a back to the future moment. I see that. And where you were sort of in this repetitive loop of digesting something, I feel like you're finally breaking free of that cycle. I think you're finally cutting the cord to something that maybe has trailed you throughout lifetimes. You may have even felt like you had a particular nemesis that was sort of hot on your tail. Lifetime after lifetime, you kept finding yourself ending up in the same pattern. You know, there might be somebody that when you met them, you were just like, oh, you again, it's you again. And you've been battling this out for a while, but I do feel like there's something that's going to be illuminated for you here right as you edge up to that new moon in your sign. And it's really going to help you find a way through. I think you're peering through the dark at this time, and you're able to see something that others aren't able to see. You're able to cut through your own BS and the BS of others. And there's something here about breaking a major karmic cycle with this pyramid-headed bird here, okay? So there's something that rises up out of the old, and it's through breaking contracts with those things that have played the role of deceiver in your life. So I do feel like there's something significant, some kind of deep communication coming in for you on a soul level with the new moon. Do really pay attention tomorrow on June 2nd when you have that alignment with Pluto retrograde. It is a trine. It's going to act as a magnifying glass. I think there's going to be something you see there that you couldn't see before, and it's going to light the way forward. And I think it may be a time when you're like, all right, man, school's in session, you're transforming some situation with this character. I do feel like it's somebody who's had too much control over you for too long. It's like, nope, time's up. Time to ring that bell. Class is over. You've learned what you've had to learn here. And now you're transforming this. You're getting off this teat and you're taking control of your own life, all right? You're not going to be falling in line with anybody's dictates at this time. I think you're ready to really branch out, cut through the illusion, and head down a different track, Gemini. Okay, so let's see what's coming in for Gemini. I feel like a lot of your signposts are going to come through where you're encountering deception in your life. It's almost like in the lies and in the deceit and in the, you know, it's almost like a clamoring for control. I feel like you're dealing with people who are trying to like put you in a box or keep you in line, you know, people who think that they can school you. And this is going to give you a cue about what you need to transform. You're going to understand that these connections, these things that you're invested in, they're not really providing any true nurturing for you. And that it's time for you to take back the reins in your own life and carve your own way outside of anybody else's dictates. Okay, so you may really be heading into a time that requires you to ruffle a few feathers. Okay. might require you to school some people who thought that they were the ones who were schooling you, all right? But I see it turning out to your advantage, Gemini. This looks pretty good for you. What is coming in for Gemini? All right. Ooh, yes. And this might make you, you know, the antagonist in someone's story. They may view you as a bit of a villain with big, sexy Satan here. I do feel like you're embracing more of your hedonistic nature, and you're understanding that sometimes you do have to play the villain in order to bring a sense of balance and order to your world. And there's something here with the digging ghost, you know, there's something that has been just continually resurfacing over and over again on a repeat loop, 1515 on the clock. I think you're going to hone your vision into what this thing is. And I do feel this is like a karmic tie, and it's holdover. It's been repeated many, many times through many incarnations. Okay. And if you don't buy into that, if that ain't your bag, okay, if that ain't your deal, the past life thing, I just feel like this is a circuitous route. You've been down this route multiple times, and you keep like digging deeper in this, you know, particular area of your life, thinking you're going to find something new here, but it's the same old story. And it's when you actually finally lay this ghost to rest that you reclaim the keys to the kingdom and you discover that buried treasure. All right. So do look at temptation. Do look at more of the taboo side of life to be speaking to you, and understand how maybe these parts of yourself that you cast in darkness were vilified by somebody who actually wanted to have control over you. And there's something about reclaiming what you've hidden, reclaiming what you suppressed, maybe by doing a little bit of role playing, you know, try on the character for size, play with the energy a bit. And then you may find that you actually enjoy this deep dive into Pluto retrograde. You're going to find it a real source of empowerment, because I feel like what you're reclaiming here are like this hidden treasure. You know, it's like parts of yourself that you've repressed because other people judged you. Other people felt like they had to keep you in line because maybe your ideas were a little bit too outside of what felt comfortable for them, but it's just right for you. And you're sort of leading the charge here. You might even have a message or some kind of knowledge you need to share with people that's really going to shake things up. But I see it's going to work quite well for you. Okay. Yeah. No more half-priced hot wings for you. You're ready for the main course here. You're not satisfied with sides. You want something you can really sink your teeth into. Cut of the deck energy here. And you are definitely closing up an old karmic cycle. And whatever this is, you're laying those bones to rest. They're not going to, you know, keep getting dug up anymore. You're no longer going to be like a dog with a bone with this thing, okay? You're letting it go. This should have been closed a long time ago. Potentially, you could be dealing with a Scorpio. I think you're really embracing the Scorpio energy. I think you're diving into that house of Scorpio. You're exploring all these things. And yeah, with urinal death here, you're ceremoniously releasing this, although it may seem unceremonious to others, okay? I have to say, this is kind of interesting. When, fellas, when you're at the urinal, you know, listen to the conversations you overheard. You might hear something that gives you a clue about your future that you might feel is a little bit of a visitation from a future incarnation of yourself. All right, so there is that Back to the Future vibe coming in here. It should get interesting. All right. I don't think somebody's going to be happy about what you're bringing to a close here. They might be a little pissed about it, but it works in your best interest. And it was 1844 on the clock. Bringing this thing to a close is a wise move on your part. It really sets you free. It's you moving in alignment with your spiritual path, and it brings you into your PowerPoint and perfect alignment. All right. Cancer. All right. What is coming in for Cancer as they move through Jupiter in Gemini over this next year? And we have to remember that when this wraps up, we'll also have the nodes finally shifting. So this is very much about aligning with our destiny, aligning with that place where we're meant to be. And hopefully, you know, we've taken care of the work at the South Node, so we're not left behind. Remember, you know, the old's got to go. The way is weird and unfamiliar, but it's also empowering, okay? So where you've been is not where you're going. Everything's going to look brand new. And I don't care if you're heading down the road with the same person that you've had by your side for years. Something's going through a major transformation here, okay? So this might be coming in for you, Cancer. There might be somebody that you're really changing your view of as you move through this cycle. You're relating to them differently. You're communicating with them differently. You're seeing them differently. right? What is this for Cancer that's coming in with this Jupiter retrograde cycle? Oh, yes, this may be a feral nerd. And I have to say, this particular cycle does favor nerds, okay? So maybe you kind of like viewed something somebody was interested in as like, yeah, you know, that's not really for me. You might want to explore some things outside the box. Maybe you know somebody who's into role playing. Maybe you know somebody who's into like Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering or something like that. Maybe that's not your usual MO. You might want to try it out. There might be something there for you. Look at we got here. Everything's fine, okay? So I think you're going through sort of a deconstruction phase as you move through this cycle. And you're just trying to keep things balanced. There is some major ending happening here. It might feel sort of cataclysmic to you, I have to say. I think that the deep dive into Pluto retrograde is pretty intense for you. There's a lot that's coming up. And there's almost this feeling like I just want to clear it all and start all over again. And I do think you're getting a bit of that, but I also feel like whatever you're clearing out here, it also like clears the channel. You know what I'm saying? But instead of like a tower where the lightning bolt comes down from above and, you know, just rocks your world, I feel like what's happening here is happening more like an eruption for you. It's like happening subterraneanly. So there's like something in your subconscious that's really bubbling up to the surface. And as you allow this to rise to conscious awareness, it blows your mind. And it's like you finally get the key that you've been missing, all right? And it might help you at this time to work with role playing a bit. I have to say, play with the energy a bit. That might be a way that you can move through what seems like really heavy and really intense in such a way that, you know, you can kind of play with the energy a bit more rather than it seeming so fatalistic. Yeah, this is a very fertile time for you with the uterus, with feet. I don't feel like you're going to be the pawn in someone's storyline anymore. I feel like you are the impregnator of your new world, okay? You maybe used to look at love and relationships as being the source of, you know, where you wanted to pour your energy. And maybe you really look to your partner to provide that avenue, you know, for you to find your ultimate expression through. But there's something here about coming more into like the feminine principle. You know, you're sort of harnessing like that need to act, and instead you're discovering the power and the fertility and receptivity. And in doing so, there's some new beginning you're birthing here. A lot of you are going to have a new concept of love, okay? But it comes through like sort of clearing out the history of your past love relationships. And through clearing out the history of your past love relationships, it allows like a new kind of power to rise within you that fills your cup. And then you bring something new to the table, 2333 on the clock. So big change happening here. Again, it's something that may feel a little, you know, destabilizing at first. I don't know why I got these vibes, but you might want to role play like some kind of like romantic heroine as you move through this cycle. And yes, that's even if you're a man, okay? Try it on for size. Maybe you need to, you know, adopt more of a Cleopatra to Mark Anthony kind of role, you know. Just play with it. I don't know. Maybe you're in for a little more intrigue. You want to play more Mata Hari, okay? There's something about this, though, that's really coming in with role playing and your creativity and taking more of a creative approach at this time. I do feel like whatever is coming to an end here, whatever you're closing up, it does birth some creativity through you. And maybe what you have to share here creatively is very innovative, okay? Very innovative, interesting. What do we got here on the bottom of the deck? Let me just check this out. Oh, yes. Okay, so, you know, you may be dealing with somebody that this is your effed, okay? And I think it's interesting here. This is what will trip you up, okay? You need to pay attention to this. This is when you're going to get your big downloads, or you're going to get your key to spring a lock on what's held you in place for too long, what's had all this, you know, latent power and energy repressed in you. It's when you notice that you're trying to move forward, but it's like you got one foot stepping forward and one foot is like heading back to the past. And that's what's kind of like dividing you. So anytime you feel like you're caught in between the past and the future, that's when you really need to pay attention and notice the ways that you're not like all in with stepping forward. It's almost like you're trying to step forward into your future, but you're keeping 1 foot lodged in a door of the past just to keep it open, just in case. And there's something about no, you know, what happened back there isn't fine. Just let it come undone. Let it be done with already, because this is what actually moves you out of this place of playing the pawn and into the role of creator, all right? It's time to stop leaving a door open to the past in some regard. Yes, you are being asked to be the decision maker here, okay? Straighten that crown. Let it be crowned with the wisdom of the lessons you've learned. Cut off any source of confusion. So you know, if you start feeling confused, if you start finding yourself up in your head a lot, there's something you need to stop and pay attention to there, because it's leading you in the wrong direction. And it's once you cut this off that all of the innovation, the inspiration comes through, and you find your way through what at first felt like a tangled mess. All right. This looks good. This looks good, Cancer. You got it. Man, you can handle this. You know, let go of that energy. That was never yours to hold. Whatever energy was put on you here that's had you confused, that's had you tied up in knots, you know, it's not yours to hold anymore. So set yourself free, man. And I think you'll be very happy with the results of that. All right, Leo. These are just little brief messages here, but I thought it'd be kind of fun just to play with the energy, see what's coming in. And I love working with the Arcane BS deck because it's nonsensical. It makes no sense. And that's exactly what we need to embrace right now, is the absurd. In fact, if you get too much in your head, you try to make sense of the senseless, you're just going to find yourself chasing your own tail. Okay, so Leo, you might have a little coyote medicine working for you right now. You might be chasing your own tail a bit. You might be after a particular road runner who keeps running you in circles, all right? So there's something you need to recognize here. There's something about you reclaiming the sacred clown, okay? It is sacred to be the clown, all right? There's something here for you to look at. I feel like you're really working with trickster medicine as you move through this cycle, Gemini. Ooh, Gemini. Are you dealing with a Gemini, Leo? That's interesting. How did Gemini sneak in there? You got a twin you're dealing with, okay? You could be dealing with your doppelganger. Oh, interesting. Your doppelganger could be playing tricks on you. This is very interesting. It's like your alter ego is the other side of yourself. Do you have an angel on one side, devil on the other, Leo? You might really feel this cycle. Okay, that's very interesting the way that came in there. Let's see what's coming in for Leo here. Galaxy Dad. Okay, so time's up here. There's something that, you know, it's time for you to cut the cord on this. There's no need for you to be a martyr anymore. I think you got Saturn front and center here. Some of you may be going through your Saturn return simultaneously. Whoo, you're going through the birthing canal, all right? You're really going to be in a state of suspended animation here. Some of you may also be getting a lot of synchronicities, a lot of messages coming in around the father specifically, also around tradition, you know, discipline, structure. And you might be finding the way that time's up on that, you know, it's time to like let the structure go. It's time to stop being a slave to this. It's time to stop being a martyr to this. It's time to stop nursing the wounding and to get the memo, you know, it's time to enter that place where, you know, it is timeless. You don't know what's up ahead. I do feel like you've invested in something here that you thought was the Holy Grail, but it's a bit of a gross cut, okay? It's not going to nourish you. It's not going to fulfill you. And you keep thinking, maybe if I just give it a more time, maybe if I just try a little harder, maybe if I conform to, you know, the situation more, if I fall in line, then it'll work out. No, it won't. It is what it is. You know, it's got those kind of vibes. Okay, give me more details about this for Leo. What's coming in for Leo during this Jupiter in Gemini transit? What's coming in for Leo? I mean, you may feel like, are we there yet? And I think you've been dealing with a situation too that's felt like that. You may have felt like somebody was trying to parent you too. And I feel like it's time for you to take back the authority in your life as well. You may have been having a clash with a parent, okay? There may be somebody who just likes to play that role in your life. This person's very different from you. And in some ways, they feel like your twin, you know? They feel like your mirror. They're a bit of a doppelganger. Maybe they represent the repressed side of you, okay? But I feel like it's time for you to do things your way, all right? Because there's something here that's really precious. Time is just a belief construct, but also time is precious too, you know? And that's the irony here. Oh, yes. It's down with this authority. Do you see this? You're really rebelling against tradition. You're rebelling against structure. You're rebelling against any kind of outside authority that holds you to some sense of formality or morality that they themselves don't hold, because this is the Greece priest. So I do feel like there's also this kind of like raw, unbridled spirituality that's awakening in you. I don't think you're looking to gurus. You are you. You're carving your own way. You're trusting your own wisdom here. There's a lot about breaking free of tradition for you, finding your own way, not being a slave to these ideals any longer. And I do feel there may be quite a few of you that are going through a Saturn return, and it's feeling pretty mean and heavy to you. But I think that anytime you start feeling like maybe, you know, you're dealing with somebody who's being hypocritical, like they have real lofty ideals for you, but they themselves don't live in alignment with that, or anytime you start to notice that you idolize someone or you put them on a pedestal, but you're not recognizing your own power in the situation, that's when you really need to pay attention, because there's a big clue there for you, Leo, about something that needs to really be rocked. You know, it needs to be rocked. You need to rock the boat. I feel like that. You need to rock the boat so you can wash off all of this, like, you know, sense of obligation, you know, to conform to somebody's ideals of who they think you should be. Rock that boat, you know. There's something in cleansing this energy that leads you to something more in alignment with who you are. And yeah, look, some of you are dealing with a Gemini. Some of you have really strong Gemini placements in your chart. This is about making up your goddamn mind, Leo. Okay, you're divided in half here. But I feel like the reason why you're divided in half is you need to reclaim your own mind. You need to free your mind. The rest will follow, okay? This is a purification here. The problem is you're not listening to what's right for you. This is about you taking charge of your own mind, how you choose to see things, the choices you make for yourself. And the more that you feel like kind of divided, like pulled in two directions here, that becomes a highlight for you, like whatever is putting you in that space where you don't feel like you have control over your own choices, that you're not the authority in your life, but you've instead handed that authority over to somebody outside of yourself, somebody you've, you know, put on a pedestal, then that's a cue to you to do some purification work and really get in your own energy. Because it's once you like release yourself from all this sense of obligation or conformity that you're truly going to find your way through. And what's on the other side here? Oh, yes. You know, this might be coming up too in terms of sexuality, gender, what it means to be in relationship. This might have a lot to do with how you've chosen to express yourself on these levels. I do think you're reviewing a lot that came up in the past. You're reviewing your past connections, how they had sway over you, how they had sway over the way you see yourself. There's something you're getting a new view here of, and it's really creating quite a transformation for you. There might be something that comes in around new moon for you in regard to this, with the coffin full of tacos, full of snakes. All right. I think you're shedding some skins here in this regard. I do think, you know, you're kind of letting those skeletons come out of the closet, and you're finally recognizing that there's nothing to be ashamed of here, because every experience you've had, even the ones you're not so proud of, has led to some kind of growth, some kind of transformation in you. And it's what actually allows you to, you know, take back the authority in your life, to live life on your terms. I actually think it's good here, okay? So I do feel like there's something here too that's transforming around intimacy, around sensuality, around how you choose to express that energy, and not allowing yourself to be shamed for that anymore, okay? It's pretty potent. I like that, Leo. All right, Virgo. What's coming in for Virgo during this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What is coming in for Virgo in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What is coming in for Virgo in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What is coming in for Virgo in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What does Virgo need to be aware of? What signposts should they be looking for? What do they need to know as they're moving through this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? Ooh, okay, we got sex, witch, and octopus. Okay, so there's some energy here that's clinging to you that you know you need to become disentangled from. All right, there's something here that's sort of outstayed its welcome. I feel like you got a little bit of hitchhiker energy here. And it could be from somebody that you've connected with on a sensual level, right? You might be dealing with somebody who's a bit possessive of you in this way, right? You may feel like somebody is kind of like too enmeshed in your energy, right? There's something that you need to cut off here, and you should protect yourself from. It looks like it's some kind of compromising arrangement. I think where you're feeling like somebody is a little bit too grabby or possessive of your sensual energy, that should be a clue, a highlight to you that this is a pattern that needs to be broken here. Yeah, you know, again, it's really interesting here. There's some cycle you keep finding yourself going through repeatedly. This is giving birth to a skull, okay? So it's like you keep kind of going back to something again and again and again. Every time they call, you go back again and again and again, you know, thinking that somehow the past is going to be transformed. Somehow something's going to, you know, be brand new here. It's not. It's the same trip over and over and over again. And it's laborious here, all right? It's laborious here. You might actually be looking for some kind of transformation through the sensual, but you keep trying to find it through somebody that isn't providing you with that sustenance. You need to look at this in a new way. I also feel like there's something coming up here too about potentially exploring different ways of dealing with certain health challenges you've had. You might want to look at exploring medicinal mushrooms, all right? You also might want to explore a change up in diet as well for something you've been dealing with, okay? It feels like you might be dealing with some kind of health issue and you've been going about it the same old way. but it's not yielding the kind of results you want to see. Some of you have been in a therapy process and you keep reviewing the same old thing over and over again. You know, it's just sort of like the old story on repeat. And something about this is almost like strengthening those neural loops. It's making you feel more stuck than it's providing a source of transformation. And there's something here about being more mindful of what you're feeding yourself. And perhaps looking at, you know, a little bit of unconventional therapy here. You know, there's a lot of people that are starting to explore microdosing as a way to shift the consciousness. And there could be something here too about eating closer to the earth, not having so many processed foods as well, that can start to shift the consciousness, give you a different perspective. I also feel like it has everything to do with what you allow into your space, what you allow into your body. I think you're dealing with this on a mental level. I think you're dealing with it on a health level. I think you also are dealing with it in terms of outdated modes of communication. You want to learn to communicate in a new way. Maybe you want to go old school, you know, see more people in person, have face-to-face communication. Maybe you're tired of connecting with people through artificial means, you know, you're tired of like just having online communication. You want to get more like, you know, rooted. You want to get more rooted here. Yeah, you know, there's something here too where you may be dealing with a particular character. It could be an Aries. They really got their defenses up here. This could be somebody who, you know, is sort of living that virtual reality, and it's made them a bit of like an island, you know, and no man's an island here, right? You know, there might be a need to really get down to, you know, the root of things with this individual to get through the defenses here. There's something that needs to be transformed. I feel like it has something to do with communication. And it could be in this case, and again, this could have something to do with your North Node too, with Aries in the North Node. You're wanting to activate your destiny here. But it's like, it's almost like it's barred from you until you transform something fundamental here at the South Node. It's like, it's an old cycle. It's something you needed to let go of a long time ago, but whatever you're trying to resolve here, you're going about it in the old way and it's not working. It's not working. And it could have something to do with, you know, something you're not necessarily proud of, you know. This could be somebody you're dealing with that feels like, you know, they're not so proud of an action they took back there with the nip slip pope here, okay? This person may feel like a little bit embarrassed, and so they're kind of coming off as very defensive. You may need to get down and dirty with it, I have to say, to resolve this issue. You might need to see, why do I have so many defenses in place? How am I feeding into this? You want to birth a new beginning, but there's something about going about things the old way that's like, it's not working. And I think you need to drop in deep here, okay? You're going to find a lot of your messages coming in through nature. And there might be something here about, you know, going on some kind of retreat, going on some kind of nature retreat. This will allow you to see a new way through, you know. I think you need to unplug a bit as well from modern conveniences, you know. The more that you can kind of get back down to the basics, it's going to help you tap into some wisdom. There might be some of you that want to do some work around the medicine wheel as well. This is coming in for some of you. Some of you may have native ancestry, and if that's the case, I feel like this can be a source of balance for you. And even if not, you know, you might find some benefit there, okay, Virgo? Might be something you want to look into. You might be embracing more earth-centered spirituality too, as opposed to a traditional spirituality, and you're finding this a real source of grounding. All right, cut of the deck here. What do we got? this card is definitely about sex, okay? So there's also something here about reclaiming, you know, a sense of sensual, sexual empowerment for you. Maybe you are trying to transmute some shame here, okay? Maybe you felt like you've been judged on this level by somebody, and you're really wanting to just reclaim your raw, unbridled sensuality, all right? Some of you may benefit from exploring Tantra practices. I do feel like, you know, you're wanting a new beginning here, but you have to look at what has been sort of like cutting that off before it even has a chance to come to fruition. And there's something here about transforming your view too of your sensuality and really shedding what's been put on you. It feels like shame. I feel like you're transmuting shame here. hmm And you're considering, should I start something? Should I start something new? It's with somebody who's been very defensive, all right? And I think you might actually decide, especially with Pluto in retrograde here, in Aquarius, to cleanse something away. You're starting to realize that your sensual energy, it's something that's very sacred, okay? And maybe, you know, you've had people that haven't really valued that. I do feel like there's been some shame put on you here that maybe caused you to sort of close down on that level as well, all right? I do think this is coming through very strongly for you, and you're opening up to a new level of expression. There could be an Aquarius, you know, that's coming through that'll help you open up to this, embrace this, all right? Doesn't have to be. But I do feel like this is the way through. There's something that has to be released here in order for you to step into this empowerment. Shame has no part of your future, all right? And it does feel like it's shame that was put on you through another, and it's something that you're still carrying with you. You have a lot of wounding around this, okay? And you're in a process of reclaiming here, and it's beautiful. And those of you who have given birth, who have had babies, you know, I also feel like there's something here about really reclaiming your body. Maybe there's some kind of shame that was put on you in relation to that. All right. So this is like reclaiming your empowerment. And for those of you who haven't had children, maybe you experience shame around that. The fact that, you know, maybe you have fertility issues. Okay. So I see this also being a source of, you know, healing and really discovering ways to express your creative energy and feeling very empowered in that. Right. So there's something about giving birth to something altogether new here, and releasing, sort of like hitting the restart button on something that's like tired and old, and it's time for it to go. All right. Opens you into greater expansion. Libra. All right, Libra, let's see what's coming in for you. You're in the South Node, okay? So you already got a lot of responsibility there to transform whatever has been holding you back, so you can transmute that energy, rise up into that North Node activation. So let's see what's coming up for you in this cycle that Jupiter is in Gemini. What is coming in for Libra during this cycle that Jupiter is in Gemini? What's coming in for Libra in this cycle that Jupiter is in Gemini? All right, Libra, let's check it out. Oh, look at this. A bunch of cats posing as a woman. You know, I think you're really in this process of trying to figure out who you are now. I think you're going through a major identity shift at this time, and you're sort of like trying to figure out who you are. You might feel like you're just kind of going through the motions right now. You feel like you are in a major state of flux, and you're kind of like getting to know yourself all over again. You've gone through some kind of radical transformation here. This might be reflected to you through people that have kind of worn a mask with you as well. It might have made you question yourself, question your own discernment, all right? I also feel like it could benefit you to try on different roles, you know, play with your identity a bit, you know. There's something about not resisting that, like not knowing who you are right now, trying to figure out who you are right now. That doesn't mean you're an imposter. It just means you're going through a creative process of learning about who you are now. Could be that you dealt with some level of deception, or there's parts of yourself that you've hidden away even from you, okay? And they're starting to surface now. And maybe try them on for size, okay? There's nothing wrong with experimentation. There's nothing wrong with discovering new aspects of yourself, okay? I think role playing could be beneficial for you, okay? Just play with the energy a little bit. I also feel like, you know, you're discovering secret parts of yourself. Woo, and what's that? Just as I said that, a whole bunch of stuff came down on the floor here. Yeah, so this is something that's surfacing in you subconsciously. We have cactus on a motorcycle with udders in reverse, okay? Saxophone fetus in reverse. You're effed in reverse, all right? And vengeance in reverse. Okay, so a lot of you may be dealing with kind of a situation where maybe you felt like somebody wasn't, you know, genuine with you. Maybe they were putting on a front. And maybe you felt like bitter about that. You might be processing this a bit. You might be going through an identity shift because you no longer identify yourself with a certain crowd, certain connections. You sort of feel like out of your element a little bit. You're learning about who you are. There may have been one point here where you did feel a little vengeful about that, you know, because you felt like you really got screwed over here. Like somebody was pretty harsh with your heart. It hurt, okay? It hurt. And there's something here about, you know, allowing yourself to express that through creativity, you know, allowing yourself to express that through creativity. Maybe you're meant to give birth to a creative vision, and this is what allows you to express certain aspects of yourself that you've held in for too long, okay? There's something about processing the pain creatively instead of getting it through vengeance. You know what I'm saying? There's something that is able to be transmuted there, right? I feel like you haven't accessed this yet, though. There's still a part of you that is in a process of transformation. You may realize that you have really given too much of your energy to things that weren't even really receptive to receiving you. You know, you might have been trying to find your way through to show somebody who you are. You might have been trying to find the way through to, you know, understanding somebody was a bit of a mystery to you. This could really be coming up in the area of relationships for you, especially with what's coming in with that Sun-Venus alignment, okay? That's really going to highlight things here, okay, for you. I think that, you know, in some cases, you may realize that there were ways that, you know, you even sort of like tried to fit into somebody's life as a way to get through to their heart because they had so many defenses there. And I think what you're starting to realize is that, you know, where somebody is too blocked, you know, where somebody is hell-bent on misunderstanding you, there's no way of finding your way through there, you know? Every time you do that, you sort of shoot yourself in the foot. And this is what's prevented you from being able to move forward and really birth a new vision, you know, birth a new way forward for yourself. You know, you might have dealt with people who were just sort of greedy, you know, they had their eyes on the prize, okay? You know, they like, who gets the cheese first? You know what I'm saying? And it just like sent you through this labyrinth, sent you through this maze where you just felt yourself constantly being depleted. But it's because you gave your energy away. It's like you let yourself be the community cow and everybody just milked you dry, man. And I feel like it's time for you to understand your role in that and take back your energy so you can use it to birth new creative, you know, directions, and maybe even expressing something creatively. And it's okay. It's okay if you're learning about yourself. It's okay if there's aspects of yourself that are surfacing that are unfamiliar to you, and you're trying to learn how to express these parts of you. And maybe people feel like you're a bit of a stranger. They don't know who you are anymore. There's something about this, like just feeling like really unsure about who you are anymore. It's almost like you are giving birth to yourself. That's what it feels like. It's a bit of rebirth energy here. And you may be, you know, discovering parts of yourself that you didn't even know were there, you know, stuff that's surfacing in you subconsciously. And, you know, you're trying it on for size, and you're showing these parts of yourself, you know, to those around you, and they don't recognize you, you know, but you sort of don't recognize yourself either. So this really looks like a new sense of identity is emerging in you. And it's all a mystery to you too. And I think you're a mystery to people who've known you for a while. They may feel like you're putting on a front. They may feel like you're wearing a mask. I don't think that's the case though. I don't see that's the case at all. I think you gave up, you know, giving your time and your energy to things that only drained you in the end. You realize that there's also, you know, things that you want for yourself too. And your transformation here with that eel medicine coming in, it's a little bit more electrifying, okay? It's a little bit more supercharged. And I think that, you know, where people think that you're putting up a false front, you're not. It's just that you're discovering aspects of yourself that you haven't even been in touch with. It's brand new terrain for you too. And you know that you don't want to move forward in such a way where you're guarded. Maybe you do recognize ways that you were too guarded in the past, and you're letting the guards down. And you're sort of letting all these secret parts of yourself that you never showed to other people be seen. It's like you're in this place where, despite the fact that you've been really hurt, you actually found that your strength isn't like rising to the defense. It's just like letting yourself be completely vulnerable. All right. It's interesting. And it's through doing that, you realize you kind of unfucked yourself, you know? It was trying to be all things to all people that was really sabotaging you. And it didn't matter how much you tried to please others. It didn't do anything to, you know, advance you anyway, you know? And where people are wanting to keep secrets, you know, there's no way that you can get through that firewall too, you know? And I think you recognize that if you really wanted to, you know, have a new beginning in your life, if you want this new beginning, there's something here that, you know, you have to let rise to the surface. And so it might shake things up because people might not know how to relate to you anymore. You might not know how to relate to the whole crowd anymore. There's something that's a little lost in translation here. And I also feel like there's some aspect of your creativity that you're recovering here. And maybe it's something that's been buried in you for a while. It might have been a part of you that you shut down in the past. I feel like whatever process you're going through here, there's something that gets birthed creatively. And it has a lot to do with where you're heading in the future. Yeah, look at this. Happy rebirth day. It's true. It's like you're celebrating the endings. You're celebrating what's coming to a close. And there's something that's being rebirthed here, because on the other side of death, there is rebirth. Okay, so lots come to an end here. And I like this. Look at you. You are just riding the waves, man. You're riding the waves of change. You're hanging loose. You're embracing the transformation. You're riding the Zabuya, you know? And I think you're hanging loose, man. And there's a little bit about getting back to basics, you know? You're getting back to the basics here. But I do feel like you're finding your way. And you may feel like you're in an evolutionary process and it feels like you're at ground zero. But I do see that this is the way forward for you. And there's some kind of creativity that comes through too. Okay? So anytime you feel like you have to try to fit in, you know, that's your sign to just like shake it all loose, man. It's okay to be in a creative process. It's okay to feel like you're not sure who you are anymore. You're going through a radical shift here with your energy locked up at that south node. But I like this. I like that you're dropping the defenses. I like that you're not spilling out your energy where it's not being appreciated anymore, okay? Yeah, you know, enough of this. You're not going to lose the keys to the kingdom. Enough with King Fancy and his rules and thinking you have to be his footstool. You're not playing that game anymore, right? You're reclaiming the kingdom. Look at that. I like that. There's your rebirth, okay? You got that skeleton hand coming down. No, not so fast. Not so fast. I'm going to carve my own way. I like it, Libra. That's good. All right, Scorpio. Ooh, you're front and center, Scorpio. Batter up. You're like, I'm ready. I'm resilient. I got the power of the goat with me, man. I know how to find a way. I will find a way. Come hell or high water, I will find my way through. All right. You could also be dealing with a Capricorn. All right. You could be dealing with 10th house matters as you are moving through this Jupiter and Gemini cycle. Okay, so you may be reinventing yourself. You may be reinventing your brand. You may be really getting brave about putting a certain message out there. Maybe letting a certain side of yourself be seen that hasn't been seen before, okay? There's something here where you're being a bit tenacious. You're being very resilient. You may have felt like you had a lot coming at you, you know. Maybe people have been throwing some stones at you. You're knocking them back out of the park. I like it. I like it, okay? Batter up. Batter up, all right? Setting yourself up for a home run here, all right? Despite the curveballs that may come your way, all right? So let's check it out. What is coming in for Scorpio in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What is coming in for Scorpio in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? Whew, I suddenly got hot, man. I got hot. I got to take this off. It's getting hot in here, right? Oh, the heat is on. The heat is on, Scorpio. It's funny because I'm wearing a Goat Boy shirt, okay? So do have some fun with it, okay? Do be humorous about it, all right? Have some fun. Play with it a little bit. Don't take it so seriously, all right? Have some fun with it. Embrace the delicious side of life, Scorpio, okay? All right, let's see. What is coming in for Scorpio in this Jupiter and Gemini cycle? What is coming in for Scorpio in this Jupiter and Gemini cycle? The robot riding a gorilla. All right. I mean, I think something's become a little too mechanical for you, you know? I think you have certain primal instincts here, you know, and you have certain primal urges as well. But I feel like something's just gotten a little too rigid for you, all right? I feel like you feel like you're having to deal with a situation that's just like really cramping your style, all right? Yeah, something is just, it's not cutting it for you anymore. Look at this. We've got half price hot wings. It's just become it's too run of the mill. It's too run of the mill. Give me some more details here, please. I don't know. Some of you do. I'm picking this up around diet too. Yeah, everything's fine. You keep telling yourself everything's fine. Why? Why are you conforming to this? You know it's not good enough. Whatever this is, it's not good enough. You're bored. It's not fine. You really want to blow this joint up, man. You're tired of it, you know? It used to be hot. It ain't hot anymore. It's the same old, same old. I don't know why. I'm picking up so much coming in around sensuality here. I also feel like something's just become like, you know, it's just not good enough. And I feel like that's on all levels, okay? I am picking up a piece around diet for you too, all right? Lay off the convenience foods here. There's something you need to shift with your diet. You might want to go more primal with your diet, okay? You might want to get back to more of like a paleo kind of way of eating, or focus more on like just real, like kind of close to earth kind of foods. Get your produce up a bit more, all right? You might want to look at getting in some training too. I think strength training would be really good for you. There's something about really caring for your body. Maybe you feel like, you know, again, it might be that kind of message that, you know, you keep telling yourself everything's fine, but you're just really feeling like not strong, not strong, not strong in a connection. It's become a bit too methodical, not strong in your position. Maybe even feeling like somebody's sort of like taking advantage of you because they think that you're strong, you can take it, you know. But it's become a bit routine for you and you're a bit tired of it and you're not really getting much out of this situation, okay? I feel like there's a lot of demands that are being put on you here. Some of you are really needing to advance in your career direction. All right. You're needing to do something differently. And you might be exploring, you know, getting into some of the AI stuff, but you're a little bit at conflict with that too, because you think it's sort of sus, but at the same time, you know, it can streamline your work. It can make things easier. You're afraid that it's like going to be the source of destruction though. Like you're really at odds with this. Okay. But at the same time, you're sort of settling for half price hot wings in terms of your career. It's becoming more difficult to compete when everybody's sort of relying on this like AI technology. There's something you need to innovate here. And at the same time, there's something about getting back to basics as well. I think your health needs a little work here. Something needs to shift with the diet. You may be involved with somebody who just likes things kind of like fast and easy. That's the way it's coming in, you know? Something's become a little too convenient and you're not feeling like you're getting a lot out of it. It's a little old, it's a little tired, it's a little too mechanical for you. I think you're really trying to shake things up, all right? But there's something here about you need to take better care of your body. I don't know why that's coming in. There might be a health scare that comes in if you don't start taking better care of your body. You know you need to be eating in a way that, you know, is more sustainable. You might be having certain structural issues, you know, just not feeling your best. It has everything to do with what you're feeding yourself. Okay. And I think also online too, be aware of what you're feeding yourself. You know, what are you taking in? Is it quality or is it just sort of like junk food for the brain here? I think you're ready for a complete like overhaul here. And if you don't completely shift everything, I think you're going to explode if you continue to just kind of go along with the status quo here. Something needs to radically shift. And there's something about value here. I don't feel like you're being valued in your current situation. You keep waiting for something to change and you're just getting more of the same. Yeah, I mean, and it might cause you to start to like explore other options. I have to say, with the pupa vomiting on cats here, like, yeah, this ain't doing it. For a lot of you, you know, you're ready for some sexual exploration, you know, and you might be wanting to dive a little bit more into the mysteries in that regard. And maybe you have explored, you know, on that level. Maybe you've had some lovers, you know. Maybe you've had some side action there and you're just realizing like what used to do it for me doesn't do it for me anymore. Something's just feeling mechanical, and there's something about not feeling really like appreciated, not feeling really valued here. I think it's time to blow your mind with a little sensual exploration. There's a difference between sexual exploration and sensual exploration. I feel like you need to dive into the mysteries a bit. And there's something about treating the body like a temple. Something's become a little too automatic. Maybe it's just convenient. Maybe you're just like kind of like stuck in this loop, like this is what I do, this is my routine, but it's not really working for you. All right, so there's something here about get away from what's convenient or what's easy, all right? Maybe do a little straightening by fire. You might be surprised at how it changes things for you. And it's really coming home to roost for you in your physical body. Some of you are having some kind of hormonal issues coming up. It has something to do with the food you're eating. It really does. It's throwing off your inner, you know, like balance here. And you might be needing to get more quality food, like especially like your meat. Like there's something about going more organic, you know, eating food that, you know, is prepared with more care and attention, doing more cooking for yourself rather than just grabbing something takeout, you know. It's like getting back to basics, and at the same time like recovering like a certain sense of sanctity when it comes to your body. You know, treating your body like a temple. That's what I got. Ted says yes, all right? That's how it's coming through. You also are going through an identity shift, perhaps, you know? And this may be a multi-layered thing for you as well, you know, with all of these cats here. Oh yeah, look at this, you know? I feel like this is something where you're also like re-identifying yourself here. And you've been on some endless loop here. I think this has to do with sensuality and your physical body, all right? There's something here that's got to go, all right? Because you've been doing this thing over and over and over again. And it's like a cat licking its butt for all of eternity. And it's boring. Sensually, sexually, you're bored. Whatever partners you're with, they're not doing it for you. You want something more. It's like I see this almost as like you're wanting to enter into the gateway of the mysteries, right? And I feel like it's the sensual mysteries. And you're wanting somebody who looks into you a little bit more deeply. You know, it's got this like energy. It's just sort of like casual hookup energy, or just finding, you know, people that, you know, maybe, you know, they fulfill the need in the moment, right? But it leaves you feeling a little empty. And meanwhile, you know, there's so many more dimensions to you, but it's all like beneath the surface, and nobody ever goes beneath the surface with you. It's like you're wanting somebody who will dive really deep with you. You're wanting conscious expansion through sensuality. And there's something here where you've been compromised with needs, you know? And again, that piece, taking care of your body. Some of you are having knee issues. Knees are about a fear of moving forward, okay? So you might have just gotten the habit of like, well, you know, this is what I'm used to. And that's, I feel like a lot of it's coming through, you know, your sensual partners. And I'm going to say more sexual, like you're wanting more sensual, less just sexual. Okay. You know what I mean? Let's just hook up. Okay. You know, here we go again, the same old thing, you know, and people just kind of breeze in and out of your life, or, you know, they just keep it on the surface. You're wanting something much more deep here, right? And you might be reviewing this too. You might be reviewing like past connections and how you were valued in those situations. And you're wanting something different. You're tired of this. And maybe some of you are like, now you're more in a place where you're like, I'll just please myself rather than settle for this. I don't want to be taken advantage of anymore here. You know, if you're not going to like lead me into those greater mysteries, if you're not going to enter that garden of delight with me, forget it. I don't want to settle for half price offerings. I want something more. But there's this piece that's coming in here about the transformation happens within you first. So it's sort of like you really like appreciating yourself in this way. It's interesting. So you might want to really like look at any time you feel like you're sort of just like settling for something that feels a little bit mechanical or tired and like routine, you know, to try something new, you know, try something new. And maybe that is through, you know, discovering, you know, pleasure as a ritual. All acts of love and pleasure are her rituals. They say that about the goddess, okay? So maybe this is about allowing yourself to receive pleasure as well. You know, you've been maybe allowing somebody else to receive pleasure in a situation, but it's about you receiving pleasure. But there's this piece here about the care of the body that's coming hand in hand, and the health of your body as well. And this has everything to do with valuing yourself. And maybe, you know, finally having the courage to walk away from something that's had too much of a place in your life, more for convenience sake than really making you feel like it's worth your time. It's time to rise up out of that, okay? And I feel like it's reclaiming yourself, your needs, your own desires for pleasure. But it begins through really like taking care of your body and like flushing what isn't, you know, serving you with urinal death here. It's like this is time up on this, man. Time up on this. All right. This is a root issue too, because I'm picking up something around like kidney stones, issues with the kidneys. Okay, get up your hydration as well. You need more water. I feel like you just need to flush stuff out, man. All right. And when I think of that, I think of also like the ability to like let go of the past stuff. So there's something here that's it's time's up on it. Okay. And the sooner that you release this and you start really giving back to yourself and pouring into yourself, you're going to find, you know, the way you relate to others and your own personal gratification, especially on a sensual level, really, you know, ramping up. And it also opens up your doors of perception and, you know, lets you know what doors you need to close as well. And then I see as you close doors, new ones open. And that looks really good. All right. All right. Sagittarius. Make a little sip here. Sagittarius. Let's see what's coming in for you here, Sag. What's coming in for Sagittarius during this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? You're probably really going to feel this, Sagittarius, especially in terms of your relationships, okay? And I say that because Gemini is Sagittarius's descendant sign, and your ruling planet Jupiter is in Gemini, okay? So in your mirror, quite literally, all right? So real source of reflection for you as you move through this time. I think, especially as you relate to others, all right? And with the Sun-Venus alignment, I think this is coming up for a lot of people right now, just in general. So let's see what's coming in for you, Sagittarius, during this time. What is coming in for Sagittarius during this time? What is coming in for Sagittarius at this time? Yeah, a little bit of Scorpio themes coming in for you too, because we do have the orgy here, all right? So that might be something that's coming up for you. You might be reviewing your connections, your sensual connections. There might be something you're looking at here. You might be looking at the ways that it's created some complication in your life. You might be untangling that a bit. You might be recognizing that you still have your energy tied up with some of your past intimate partners. Yeah, I think so. A lot of you are like also kind of in a similar process as Scorpio. You might have a strong Scorpio placement in your chart. You're taking back a little bit of your creative energy. You know, you might realize that connection between the sexual release and the creative power. You might be choosing to, you know, take back some of that creative power and invest it in a new way. This just kind of coming in as a side note. What's coming in for Sagittarius in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? Look at that, the mirror. So it's a mystery to you. I feel like you're learning a lot through relationship. It's like the more you look deeper into another, the more it causes you to look deeper into yourself. Somebody is a mystery to you, and you're trying to find your way into the center, but it's like you got to crack the code, right? But what's interesting is what you're trying to find in another, like try to find the way in to their innermost being. You don't find until you find the innermost part of yourself. It's almost like the other is mirroring something to you. You find it a mystery within them, but they're actually highlighting something for you to explore within yourself. All right, so you're really recovering something through the mirror of another in this cycle, right? And I think you're in a real like deep psychological integration process. A lot of your communication is going to be coming in through your subconscious. So I think the more that you can journey within, especially when you feel activated by anyone outside of yourself, use that as a cue to like dive deep into your inner sanctuary. And see, it's coming in for you as well. So we do have sex witch octopus coming in here. Okay, so there is a little bit of energy that's entangled with the other here that you do need to separate yourself from. There's a need to really come into your own essence here, so you're not feeling like there's this enmeshment of energy that causes confusion. I think you've taken on somebody else's energy. It might be multiple people. There might still be a lot of energy you have from past lovers in your space that you really need to untangle yourself from. Yeah. And you could have been dealing with a Scorpio, I have to say. This might be, you know, what you're diving deep into as well. All right. This could be something that you've gone through multiple times, multiple rounds with this individual. You could be dealing with a particular soulmate in this situation where this thing keeps coming up. You might feel like this person is still like really corded into you. For some of you, you might feel like you got somebody here that maybe, you know, has tapped into you esoterically, right? Just bring it in. You might feel like you got somebody who works with a little sex magic, okay? And they've infiltrated your space a little too much there. You might feel like this is translating as some kind of like blockages in your life, specifically your ability to birth new beginnings into your life. You may feel like you're dealing with like sort of a siphoning of your energy. I think there's something going on here where your energy is too enmeshed with another. And it's time to really like cut off the supply. It's got like energy harvesting vibes, I have to say. All right. This also may be ways that you don't recognize how you feed off others' energy as well. So it is a mirrored energy. We do have to look at that. All right. And there might be also a way that you're tapping in energetically with somebody as a way to avoid like actually like showing up in real time and dealing with that person, you know, face to face. You might actually be dealing with somebody who's a bit of, you know, a bit of a mind fucks. Let's say, you know, it's like maybe that's their hook, the enigma, the mystery. And I feel like it works both ways. I have to say, it does feel like it's a mirroring energy, but there's a need to sort of like clear out this grabby energy here, because octopus is all about creative energy. It's also about exercising intelligence, okay? And I feel like this is emotional intelligence that needs to be exercised here. And there's nothing wrong with exploring the mysteries. There's nothing wrong with, you know, I don't know why, but I got like some kind of action, like it feels like there's something that you're tapping into here, but it's not there in the physical. Like somebody's tapping into you or you're tapping into another. There may have been times when it sort of worked both ways, but this connection has become draining and you don't recognize the way it's siphoning your creative power. You might be experiencing blockages in your life, and it's because there's somebody who's still too like corded into your space. All right. It's siphoning your creative power. You might be feeling like you're in like a place where your creativity is kind of blocked, or you're struggling to really get like things moving as far as like financial flow, abundance. It's because your energy is being drained. There's something you need to cut off here. It's something that's having a draining effect on you, and something that's got a hold on you too. And as much as you think it's got a hold on you, you have a hold on it as well. So there's something you really need to look at here. And I think you've tried to bring this to an end before, but it's sort of like it's still there. It's still lingering. It could be a pattern too, a pattern as well. Let's see, what do we got here on the cut? This is interesting energy with you. Yeah, again. It's sort of like some of you, I have to say, it is coming in. All right. It is coming in for some of you. You're dealing with somebody who works with a little bit of, you know, sex magic. All right. You could have somebody who's, you know, manifesting you, you know, trying to call you in through raising the energy. Yeah, you know, and I feel like there's like something new you're wanting to open up to here in your life, but somebody's like too corded into you. Somebody's too corded into you, and they're tapping in through your sensuality. It's like a block in your sacral chakra, I feel, okay? And there's a need to clear that energy out so that you're able to actually have new beginnings in your life, and you're not like bumping up against one block after another. And it absolutely can happen, not just in terms of relationships and how you're connecting with your own, you know, sensual energy, or your ability to, you know, form new connections, but it also can block you in other ways. It can block you creatively. It can block you. You know, some of you may have something creative that you're trying to like, you know, put out there, but you keep coming up with writer's block, or, you know, there's just some block there that you can't push through, and you don't have the usual inspiration that you normally do. Some of you may feel like your finances are blocked as well. I mean, all of that ties in. If you got too much outside energy tapped in and draining your essence, or if you're too reliant on tapping into another's energy, you know, in order to like fuel you up. Some of you have a muse and it's become a bit destructive, or somebody finds you as their muse and it's become a bit entangled. There's a mirroring energy here. There's a need to cut off the supply. I feel that.
Yeah, is somebody's hitchhiking on your energy here. Look at this with the guru, you know, somebody is piggybacking off your energy. You got a hitchhiker energy here that you need to clear out. So you need to pay attention to this, you know. How are you feeling when you're connecting with others? How are you feeling in certain people's presence when you're with them? Does it feel like, you know, your cup is filled by, you know, the interaction? Do you feel restored after you spend time with this person, or are you feeling drained? There's something about looking at this, about looking at the energy exchange and really understanding that somewhere here, you know, something seems pleasurable on the surface or maybe seems harmless, but it's actually really draining you. And it's preventing a lot of future growth in your life. And some of you are dealing with somebody who's, you know, playing around with, you know, some occult arts here, and they're trying to like bind up your energy, and you need to be aware of that. You may even suspect this, you know, you've noticed this every time you like connect with this person on that level. It seems like all of a sudden you're dealing with one blockage after another in your life. Look at this, okay? There's something that's being transformed here, and you have to recognize your part in it too, all right? It's up to you to cut off this energy and be empowered in your own energy. So there's something about you taking your power back from another who's become a bit too grabby with your energy. You know, they're draining you here. Whatever this is, you know, once you clear that hitchhiker energy out, you know, I do feel like you're able to recover your source of creativity, right? But right now, it's like you got your feet to the fire for sure, all right? And you may think that it's nothing, you know, but it's something. It's like a moth to the flame, man, you know? It's like a moth to a flame. It's destructive, right? You get led there by primal urges, but then, you know, you find yourself here, you know, jumping right into the fire, jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. So there's something you're transforming here, and it might be painful as you release this particular connection because it feels like it's deeply entrenched. But once you do, you recognize that this fire test of truth, this transformation, brings you back into a place of really fueling your fire, you know, and you blaze a new trail moving forward, all right? But something needs to be transformed here because it's draining you. It's cutting off your source of creative expression, and that comes down to absolutely every area of your life. It's not just in terms of, you know, owning your sensual energy, but your ability to, you know, create new beginnings for yourself in your life, all right? Somebody's cutting off your supply, man, all right? And you may be, you know, tapping into another's too. So there's a little piece here about like codependent dynamics here that needs to be uprooted. All right. Capricorn. What's coming in for Capricorn during this cycle of Jupiter and Gemini? What is coming in for Capricorn during this cycle of Jupiter and Gemini? What is coming in for Capricorn in Jupiter in Gemini? What's coming in for Capricorn during this cycle of Jupiter and Gemini? What's coming in for Capricorn during the cycle of Jupiter in Gemini? Oh, Madam Rufflebonnet. Oh, okay. So I think that, you know, you're looking at the way that you kind of like towed the line. All right. Maybe you've always been the dutiful one, you know, the responsible one. You've always minded your P's and Q's, you know. And there's something here that I feel like is getting to the point where you're starting to realize that sometimes you just can't play it safe. And I say that because you got the inverted squirrel here. All right. That might have been a role you were willing to play in the past, okay, because it kept you in a safe space. It kept you, you know, coloring inside the lines, not pushing boundaries too much. But I feel like this is something that you're going to start bumping up against here. You might even have somebody who's sort of like on your butt a little bit about this, you know, maybe they're always telling you what you should do. They warn you of all the pitfalls you could experience if you do things in an unconventional way. I do feel like maybe for a while you were more conventional, or maybe more willing to be the one who sort of like stayed within certain parameters, adhered to tradition, did the responsible thing. But I feel like this is starting to feel more confining for you. You might be more willing to sort of like challenge some of these like borders you've allowed yourself to be put within. You might be ready to try something a little outside the box. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, you feel like you've always been the provider, You've always done the responsible thing. You've always taken care of everything, everybody. This could have been something you saw mirrored in your environment as a child, Maybe you grew up in a situation where you sort of felt like you had to kind of like, adhere to certain tradition, Or maybe in some cases you felt like, you never really knew what it felt like for somebody to provide you, with the support that you needed. This could have been something that was mirrored in your family in some way. This also could be, parts of yourself that you hide, I think it's the elephant in the room, right? I do feel like it's getting a little hard, spilling your energy out all the time. You need something here to fill your cup too. I feel like you're needing, somebody to provide for you a little bit here. You're also needing whatever you're involved in here to, fill you up as well. And there might be something that you're wanting to bring forward here. It's like your baby, okay? It might be like a creative project. It might be some idea you have, a new business idea. It's something you're keeping under wraps. It's very different from anything you've done before. It's really outside the box. It might feel like you're kind of exposing yourself a little bit as you head down this road. I think it's something that has been, sort of in your face for a long time, though. You know that this is who you really are. This is what you're here to do. You want to bring this part of you forward. You may be concerned about how your family will react to it, But I think some of you, okay, not all of you, but some of you may be coming out of the closet, okay? I just want to bring it in. It is coming in for some of you, Some of you, are having a really young part of yourself activated. It's a part of you that you've kept secret. I feel that. It's crossing here. The flying man. Look at this. I think you're about to take the leap, though. Because whatever this is, it's something that is just like, it's just like gnawing away at you. You can't hide this part of you anymore. It's time for you to really like bring this part of you forward. There's something here about your concern about a certain person's opinion in regard to this. It could be a mother figure. It doesn't have to be. It could be somebody's opinion that, you really value, and you're not sure how they're going to receive this side of you. But you know that you can't live contained like this anymore, right? And for some of you, it's around like a way of providing for yourself. It has something to do with your career, Maybe you've had a very like traditional sort of career, It looks really good on paper. Inside, it's just making you feel completely empty, though. And you put on a brave face, and it provides, it pays the bills. It keeps a roof over my head, but I feel like I don't really get to be who I am in this role. Mm-hmm. And I think that you've been weighing this up for a while. Do I take the risk? Do I take the leap? Do I actually unmask myself and let people see this is who I really am? This is who I am. This is what I want to do. Some of you have been working on this privately, okay? This is like a project you've been working on privately. It could be a business idea you have. There's something about your finances that's tied into this. And you're sort of a little bit concerned about backlash or how people are going to view it. It may even, you know, be bringing up questions inside of yourself too. You know, you may be wondering if it's too big of a risk. Like, is this really going to throw off my security? It does have like coming out of the closet vibes, but that's not necessarily about like, you know, your sexuality. Okay. For some of you, it may be. For some of you, it may be, you know, you may have been, you know, kind of like playing the role of like, you know, the family man or, you know, the dutiful wife, you know, and there's this whole, you know, separate side of you that's been hidden. This could even be like having like a little bit of a dual life. It's got those kind of vibes. Like it's almost like you got like a secret life, you know, some part of you that you're starting to feel it's causing you to feel a little bit too divided to have to keep this part of you like hidden, and you don't want to hide it anymore. You may even suspect that other people, you know, might be aware of this. It's like the elephant in the room. You want to call it out, okay? You want to call it out. I think you're about to take this risk. I think you're going to dive into it head first. And it may, you know, shock people. It may shock people. Some people. But I feel like there are some people here who've been waiting for you to just come up and out with it already, you know? They feel like it's the elephant in the room. You know, it's interesting. The secrets we keep are often what have power over us. And once we, you know, just let ourselves be seen for who we are, it's so freeing. It's so liberating. Yeah, interesting. Okay. We do have the penis weasel here. Okay. So for some of you, yes, this does have something to do with, you know, gender roles, you know, sexual identity. Okay. Wanting to be seen in a new way. For others of you, you've been investing, you know, your energy in a certain direction, but it doesn't really do it for you. You know what I mean? And really your true passion, your true inspiration is something that you've had to keep kind of like a secret. It's a little bit more underground, right? And you may have been like sneaking away to, you know, invest your time and energy in this thing because you feel like in some way somebody's going to disapprove of your choices. You know, maybe you think you're going to be criticized for taking this leap. Maybe some people will feel it's irresponsible, but it's what lights your fire. I do see you taking a strong action in regard to this, okay? There might be something too that's like it's a subconscious influence that's going to be lit up for you, where you're really going to understand what's been preventing you from fully embracing like who you really are and who you want to be in the world. And it's going to give you the courage to take an action. I feel like when there's that Mars trine Pluto retrograde on July 21st, as you head in Leo season, you might be like taking a bold leap in this direction. And it's a game changer, right? And tell Madame Rufflebonnet to stuff it, okay? If she has anything to say about it, you know, it's your life. You shouldn't have to conceal, you know, who you are to make somebody else comfortable, right? I feel that. A pit bull driving a tiny truck, okay? It's interesting. What's on the other side here? Robo Dodo. Yeah, look at this, you know? I mean, you may really have to buck tradition here, okay, with the greased priest. This doesn't work for you. So for some of you, this is around your spiritual identity. You know, you got, you know, somebody who has real traditional values, you know, maybe you come from a strict Christian upbringing, you know, maybe this really bucks tradition. Maybe it makes you look like a little bit of a heretic, I have to say. Maybe you're afraid they're going to come after you with, you know, the pitchforks and torches, you know, if you dive head first into this. You're afraid of some kind of judgment. This could be about like pursuing some pathway of exploration with your career that is really outside the box. And for some of you, it's really breaking free of tradition. This might be, you know, something that's seen as irresponsible. You want to head in a really creative direction with your career. And somebody just feels like, you know, what are you doing? You know, you're the provider. You need to be more responsible than this. And yet, you know, there's a little bit of your soul that's just withering away, like playing the game. You don't want to be part of the grind anymore. You want to do things differently here. For others of you, you might be like changing up your spiritual identity, okay? And this is really like outside the box for you. It might even be bringing up some stuff for you. You're not sure your family will approve. Maybe you're like, you know, you're exploring the metaphysical arts, you know. Maybe some of you got a little bit of you know, a wizard in you. And you have to keep it in the closet, you know, it's something you don't talk about. But it does feel like something's being maybe even exposed here, right? It might make you a little defensive, okay? It could be even like a secret's revealed and it makes you a little defensive when this comes out, you know? A pit bull driving a tiny truck. There is something here coming up about roles, like roles that are cast on you, the way you're supposed to be, what it means to be a man, you know, what it means to be a good girl, a nice, upstanding woman, what it means to be a good person in some cases here, all right? But I feel like you're willing to like take the risk because it's becoming too painful to keep a certain part of yourself hidden here. You can't do it anymore. It's like there's your truth, you know, and it's like your truth is there kind of prodding you forward. It's like kind of like, you know, goading you to like, you know, break out of this like sort of like robo dodo, you know, phase before, you know, you go extinct here, you know. The dodo bird is extinct. It no longer exists, you know? And you know that whoever this was, this old identity that you used to wear, you know, it's not who you are anymore. But there could be people that you're connected to. And I keep getting like a family piece here that's how they see you. And they're very comfortable with that. And it makes them feel very comfortable to continue to view you through that lens. But you know that to be authentically you got to come up and out with it. You know, you can't let this secret, you know, side of you have power over you anymore. And in a way, if you don't really let yourself be who you are, really own it and have a healthy sense of pride around that, then you're giving your power away to these outside judgments, these old tired roles, these, you know, traditional values that don't really apply to you, all right? So there's something here about the truth really sets you free. And I feel like this will be really beneficial for you, right? Really beneficial for you. You should go forward with this, all right? Because, yeah, you know, this isn't working for you anymore. Adhering to this, you know, tradition, for a lot of you, it's spiritually, you're really opening up to a different type of spirituality. You're really afraid of the judgment that you're going to get as a result of that. But I see that, you know, if you take the leap, it pays off, you know. You reclaim your power here and you blaze a new trail. It does require you to be brave, all right? And I think you're looking at, you know, some stuff that's, you know, in your root cellar around this in terms of your family, all right? But whatever this is, it's time to bring it to a close because, you know, you just feel like you're starving. You know, you do. You feel like you're starving here, you know, playing this role. It's not fulfilling you, and you really want people to see who you are. The old way isn't nourishing you anymore. So time to embrace the new and what really fulfills you. And anybody's judgments, man, tell them to stuff it in their ruffle bonnet, man. I think they'll come around when they see how fulfilled you are and how empowered you are being who you authentically are, Capricorn, right? Okay, Aquarius. Let's see, Aquarius, you know, your energy front and center. You got Pluto retrograde in your sign, kicking off this cycle. Right, so a lot coming up for you. Let's see how Jupiter in Gemini is going to be influencing you. How is Jupiter in Gemini going to be affecting you, Aquarius? What's coming up for you, Aquarius, during this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What is coming in for Aquarius during this Jupiter in Gemini cycle, Spirit? Ooh, okay. So I do feel like there's a lot coming up here that is sort of like too much for you to carry forward. All right. I feel like you're in a very self-protective place right now. I feel like, you know, you're holding on to this pain, and this pain is weighing you down. It's preventing you from really like rising up into your future, into that North Node. You're holding on to too much pain from the past, and that's preventing this transformation that needs to happen. So you can really alchemize that energy, right? Alchemize that energy and turn it into your destiny. You might be feeling very self-protective right now. You might be really sort of like needing some space to yourself as you sort through this, all right? You have some pain to sort through. You might not be very trusting of others right now, too. That might be something that you're grappling with during this cycle. You could have been dealing with an Aries, right? Maybe you dealt with an Aries that sort of has your hackles up a little bit. All right. Okay. Yeah, there's something here about loyalty and having a hard time trusting people, not knowing who your friends are. And this is something that needs to be transformed here. It's something you've been holding on to for too long, right? You want to trust somebody, right? I see this here with annihilation, okay? I see this here. Like there's some case here where you felt like somebody took advantage of your loyalty. Like you wanted to be gentle with this person. You wanted to be trusting with this person. You were loyal to this person. And yet what you found was annihilation, you know? You felt like this thing really did you in. Oh yeah, look at this, golden retriever. Like somebody bit the hand that fed them here. And you feel like you got caught up in the crossroads, man. You know? This is what was presented to you, you know? And you let down your guard. And this is what you got in return. Maybe you even really showed up for this person. You helped this person out. You know, you did a lot for this person. You felt really taken advantage of. You let this person into places inside of you you hadn't let anybody else into. Some of you felt like you really got ripped off financially too. Some of you got the dirty end of a business deal. You know, you lost big time. And it's because you trusted somebody. You put your trust in somebody. There's something you're transforming here, though, okay? You might feel a little angry about this, too, where somebody, like, took your loyalty for granted, your vulnerability for granted. They took advantage of that. You could be dealing with a Scorpio, all right? You could be dealing with somebody who was born in the year of the dog in Chinese astrology as well. I do feel like this is somebody that, you know, you would have never questioned before, but you got a different view of the situation now. There might be something that you're having revealed to you here. It's something you're seeing that you couldn't see before. It's really, you know, making you feel like you got to bring this cycle to a close. Some of you may be struggling with the desire to get revenge in this situation, I have to say. A little bit of that eye for an eye energy here, right? what you can't see right now, and might be something that comes up for you around new moon on the 7th, okay? You might not realize how much this was actually holding you back, okay? This is somebody that's been taking advantage of you for way too long. They've been weighing you down, man. And I think you knew that you needed to let this go a long time ago, right? But in an effort to be loyal, you realize that it actually was, a long drawn out ending here to something that should have been let go a long time ago, right? There's something here too about maybe you didn't want to hurt somebody that had been loyal to you, you know? I could see it being kind of a mirrored situation. I have to bring it in with the Gemini energy because there is going to be a lot of mirroring going on at this time. There could be a situation here where you felt like, somebody did a lot for you and you don't want to hurt this person, but you feel like you got to spring the lock here, man, because something isn't for you, You didn't want to bite the hand that fed you, But at the same time, you can't continue to sort of like play this role. I do think you feel really out of your element. I mean, we got a raptor riding a dolphin in space here. Okay, so you're definitely out of your element. There's definitely something you're releasing here. It's something that's been in your life for a long time. I also feel like it's a burden you've been bearing for a long time and you've gotten used to it. But you need this freedom. You need this breathing room. I mean, dolphins are about mana, okay? They're about the breath and they're about moving into that expansion. And I think there's also this piece here about, be gentle with yourself. One breath at a time, one moment at a time, right? As you move into this expansion, I don't think it's easy for you to let this go, but there's some piece here about you're drawing out an ending because you don't want to be disloyal. And you don't realize how in drawing out this ending, you're actually also really like just causing more pain in the situation. And like it almost makes the pain more impacted for both parties. And I feel like you've been hurt here too, okay? It works both ways. And sometimes, you got to let the old stuff go. It's time to move towards something new. What do we got here? What's coming in here? Yeah, look at this, little Pablo. We do have frog medicine here. This is about cleansing away the old. And something has had too much of a hold on you here with this, crawfish energy here. And I feel like it's time for you to like be proud of yourself, I think you've done the best you could in this situation. There might be somebody who's trying to make you feel guilty or like you owe them something. They might be holding stuff over your head. Look at all I did for you, and this is what I get in return. I mean, something is definitely a long drawn out ending here. And I feel at one point you were loyal to this thing, but at what point does it become being disloyal to yourself, right? And I also feel like, it works both ways. This is about obtaining freedom here, right? It is. It's about obtaining freedom here, where both people have been hurt in their own way. And it's got one of these sort of like scenarios, like, the sooner that you like rip off that bandage, the better off, It's almost like taking it slowly is making it more painful. It's only creating more of this feeling of disloyalty or like somebody being played false in this situation, somebody being led on in this situation. Sometimes it's cruel to be kind. This is what's coming through. right? I do feel like once you cleanse this away, suddenly you feel like you have the key you need to open up the door to your new life, and the road opens for you. And it might be uncomfortable at first, and you might feel self-protected. You might feel like as you take your power back and you call this shot and you cut off what's not working for you, or you cut off the disloyal people in your life, there may be people who have certain judgments around that. You may feel like you're subject to criticism. It might make you feel isolated at times. But the sooner you do this, the sooner that you get to live life on your terms. And I also feel like you also give this person the key to their freedom too. And the sooner they get on to their new beginnings as well. So that if there's been too much loyalty to upholding something that's outdated, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't satisfy you. It's not fulfilling. It doesn't work for either person here. It's time for it to go. And I think it's going to be difficult for, everybody involved in this situation. It's obvious that, this makes you feel really out of your element. But getting to the other side of it, there's something to celebrate here. And I like it. Crawfish, they're usually in brackish water. You know what I mean? There's something that's been a little bit cloudy here. There's something you haven't been able to see clearly. And I think once you cut this off, you see it for, what it is. And then, it doesn't take long before you're really celebrating your new beginning. And you might be making an announcement about this, you might finally be, making this clear, that you've made a choice about what you're going to do and you're moving in that direction, right? And to me, I feel like you paid your dues. Like whatever this is, you've been at the crossroads long enough. You've paid your toll to a particular troll, and you deserve, this passage to your new life, all right? And whatever this is, it took a lot out of you too, okay? And it does. It really works both ways. But I don't think you'll realize that until you get to the other side of it. There is a new perspective you've gained here, though. And I feel like it is because you've been hung up at the crossroads. But I think you're finally ready to transform this. And you're ready, for your new beginning. You're ready for your new beginning. Some of you might have been dealing with the Pisces in this situation. You feel like you've been held up long enough, all right? Pisces, that reminds me of 12th house energy as well. Okay, so this could have something to do with a really significant karmic cycle you're closing here. I also feel like this is about hidden enemies, right? So it could be that you discovered that somebody you thought was loyal to you wasn't, and you did a lot for this person. That might be painful, you might be worried about, letting your guard down. You might be wondering, is anybody loyal anymore? Can I trust people? You might be kind of like really being, sort of self-protective with your energy. But I think this is the big thing here. You can trust yourself, right? This is really about trusting your own intuition here. It'll guide you through. And if you are having questions of loyalty in a situation, trust your gut. It doesn't matter what other people say, right? Don't worry about how other people perceive it. This is about knowing that what's coming up for you is legitimate. And I think this is really about respecting what your own intuition is telling you, what your own instincts are telling you here. You know that you need to free yourself from something because you're not feeling safe in this space. It doesn't feel right to you. There's questions of loyalty here. And there's definitely a need for spiritual cleansing in this situation. And in doing so, there's birth of a new beginning here for you. And it's something you'll be celebrating. And it may get people talking, I have to say, okay? But I think as time goes on, they'll recognize that you do have something to be proud of here for taking the risk to transform this, all right? But you got to trust your gut. Do a cut the deck here and see what we got. Yep. Because you've been on a repeat loop with this, giving birth to a skull. Like, you can keep, pressing restart. on a situation that you know should have been done and dusted a long time ago. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. It's never going to transform, right? Or you can take the risk to, you know, have a new beginning here. And it's interesting. I don't know why I got this energy coming in, but we got, you know, like the fish energy with the stake energy. It makes me think sea and land, okay? So it makes me think water and earth. That gives me like temperance vibes, right? So there's something you're balancing out here. And it's through your willingness, you know, to let, you know, the ending come. That's where your transformation comes in, okay? That's where your transformation comes in. You might be dealing with a Sagittarius too, okay? But there's something here that moves you into greater expansion on the other side of allowing this ending to take place. You've been sort of like dragging your heels with it for a while. I think it's because, you know, you go way back with this person, you know, maybe you've had some expansive experiences with this person. At one time, this person really opened up your mind to new things. Okay. But I feel like you're ready for a new beginning here and you're preparing yourself to take the leap. Yep. Because this isn't nourishing you anymore. So I think you're ready to maybe, you know, go for that thing that you've seen sort of as forbidden fruit. Like, I'm not allowed to have that. I'm not allowed to have that sweetness, you know? And I think you're letting yourself finally, you know, go for what you want. All right. Maybe you feel like you kind of like slipped on a banana peel back there, you know? You might feel like it's a little embarrassing or a little awkward as you step into the direction you really want to embrace. You know, you might feel like it got a little messy. Okay. It's okay. You know, find the humor in it. Find the humor in it. There's something here that should have come to a close a long time ago. And you don't need to hold yourself up at the crossroads any longer. I think you've weighed this up long enough. You know what's true. You know what you need to do. So call those shots and you'll be glad you did. You burst a new beginning in your life, all right? Okay. Pisces. What is coming in for Pisces during this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What is coming in for Pisces during this Jupiter in Gemini cycle, Spirit? What is coming in for Pisces in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle, Spirit? Jupiter is one of your rulers, Pisces, so I'm sure you're really going to be feeling this too. You're probably also dealing with a lot of mirrored situations. You definitely could be dealing with a lot in terms of the inner reflection and how it translates to what you're seeing in the world around you. Okay, what is coming in for Pisces in this Jupiter in Gemini? So let's see what we've got here, Pisces. Bottom of the deck energy, the filthy mattress. Okay, so I feel like it's time to, you know, clear out the energy from an old connection. Okay. You might have ended a relationship. All right. And you might still have things that you're holding on to in your environment from your time with that person. And you might still feel like a connection to that energy. If you're getting out of a relationship, you might want to get rid of the mattress that you shared with that person. It makes a big difference, right? It's amazing how much there can be that energetic charge and things we hold on to from previous connections, previous relationships. I do feel like there's a little energy around you that does feel like it's a little grabby, okay? Who else did that come in for? Who else did that come in for? I'm trying to remember who else had that energy come in for them. Was it Scorpio? Was it Sagittarius? I don't know, but I also feel like there's something here that just, it feels like it's been a little tainted. This could be an intimate connection that feels like it's been a little tainted. When I think of seagull energy, I think of like mine, 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 right? And with rat energy too, it just feels like a little bit of like maybe Templeton kind of energy. It reminds me of Charlotte's Web, right? There might be sort of themes playing out here. There might be quite a web woven in this situation. There might be somebody who's a little greedy in this situation. This could be translating in terms of how you connect with another, you know, intimately. Maybe, you know, something is all about somebody else's needs. You feel like I have needs too. What about my needs? Why is it always about what you want? You know, why is it always on your timing? Okay, I could see that coming in here a little bit. I also feel like maybe some of you have been dealing with a group dynamic, you know, maybe some of you have been exploring a polyamorous connection, or maybe you have become aware of other people involved in your situation. This could be people just not necessarily even on a sexually intimate level, but people just wanting to know intimate details of your life. You know, they feel like they should have access to your intimate space, that they should be able to tap into those areas that you may really want to keep private. Maybe you found that somebody shared intimate details of yours with other people, and that feels really like violating to you. It did something to affect your connection. Okay. Doesn't have to be an intimate connection. It could just be somebody that you've shared really private, you know, intimate details with, and they've, you know, compromised that intimacy you shared in your connection, whether this is a friend or a close family member, somebody that you shared something very private with. You know, maybe they felt that they deserve to have access to this very personal territory for you, and maybe you feel that this person went and, you know, shared, gossiped, you know, about these personal details with somebody else. This could be a partner that you connected with romantically, intimately, you know. For you, it was intimate. It was something that was very deep for you. This person like shared the details of, you know, what happened privately between you with other people, and you felt really violated here. Yeah. We got the nip slip pope here, okay? So yeah, you know, this may have even been a connection that you felt like, you know, was really like deep and spiritual and soulful. Like something was really intimate to you. And somebody just sort of like, you know, they showed their true intentions back there, I got, you know? You used to have a certain view of somebody and they've sort of fallen from grace as far as you're concerned. And you might feel a lot of anger about this too, I have to say, you know? There might be a lot of bad blood between the two of you now, all right? Might be a lot of bad blood between the two of you. You might think that somebody's trying to come off sort of like scot clean, you know, in this situation, like, you know, they're above it all, but you know better, you know? I do feel like there's a certain level of wisdom you've gotten in this situation. There may be a lot of bad blood and a need to sort of find your way to peace in this situation. There might need to be some cleansing in this situation as well. I don't know why this is coming in. It's really interesting though, but it's something that came up in Ayurveda before. And it actually has a lot to do with why I got this tattoo done of Chamundie. You'll notice that Chamundie, which is the Devi form of Kali, and she helps to transmute trauma. She helps you move through trauma terrain in an empowered way. And you'll see she has a skull cup here, and I have like this rose imagery, and the thorns have blood dripping from them, and the blood is going into the skull cup as an offering. The reason why I chose to get this is because when I was in a process of working through my own panchakarma, I received panchakarma. I was told that, you know, there can be benefit in like clearing out the bad blood by actually, you know, cleaning the blood. Like sometimes it's something that's done in Ayurveda to, you know, kind of clear out the bad blood, the energy from painful experiences. So what was suggested was that I go and donate blood. You know, that's something people can do to sort of like symbolically cleanse the blood, you know, the bad blood from a negative situation, right? Just sort of clear the energy out symbolically. And it's a way to make like a sacrifice, okay? Giving over. It's got like tithing vibes, okay? To sort of balance something out karmically, right? But I didn't really want to go and donate blood. That's not what was speaking to me. And so instead, I got this tattoo done, which caused me to have a lot of bloodshed, right? And I even brought in the symbolism, you know, in the tattoo itself. And I stayed in mantra the whole time that I was having the tattoo done. And so I feel like this is a way to like cleanse out the energy. There might be something that you need to cleanse here, okay? Some bad blood that you need to cleanse. And I'm not saying you have to go and donate blood, but if you feel inspired to like work with that, you can, right? It's amazing what happens when you actually make some kind of physical offering like that, right? But see, it's like the middle finger here. That's the fire finger. All right. So there could be like some anger you have. There could be some feelings of anger, resentment, vengefulness in connection with feeling like something that was really sacred to you was violated. You might feel like in some way you've been disrespected. Okay. You feel like something that was very, very private to you that you wanted to keep to yourself was put on display. You feel exposed, and you might have a little bit of a desire for like that eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of energy there. But when I look at, you know, teeth, it also makes me think of ancestors. And so there also might be something that is going down here that's being cleansed, that's being healed, that's like generational, right? It may have something to do with your family. It may have something to do with your roots. This may be cleansing the bad blood from your bloodline. You could be a generational curse lifter, okay? I feel like this is coming through. And there's something here about, you know, finding the way to peace. You might want to make some kind of symbolic offering of just your own energy, maybe even to your ancestors, okay? Maybe look at your ancestral traditions, you know. There might be some way that doing this, giving this symbolic offering, helps you find a sense of peace. I don't know why I got this too. This could also be needing to cleanse spiritual work. Maybe you have a new view of some kind of spiritual work you did. Or it could be some kind of spiritual work that was done on you. Could be root work, okay? That needs to be cleansed away. I got Dove's blood petition, right? Dove's blood petitions can sometimes be done in love workings, all right? Something here has been some kind of violation, though. It's a violation of intimacy. There could be feelings of a lot of anger associated with this, or maybe something that was done to try to get revenge on another person. You might be having second thoughts about this. There could be something that's being balanced out karmically here, okay? And again, we have to look like mirroring energy. So let me get some more details here. Yeah, okay. This is old. This is old. I feel like this is something within your bloodline that you are cleansing here. And it's something that is generational. There might be something that's highlighted here that comes up for you around new moon. Let me do a cut of the deck here, see what we got. The Queen of Holes, all right? And then on the other side here, a giant sperm fighting a dove. I'm sticking. I'm sticking with that message. I do feel like this has something to do with intimacy violation, okay? Look, there's that eye for the eye energy here. This kind of reminds me of like leaky Shakti energy too. It's like there's something here about reclaiming sovereignty, like straightening your crown. Maybe somebody in some way, like they compromised that in you, or they didn't value you, and you realize how much this person siphoned from you, how much they took from you. You know, maybe they continually took from you. It was sort of like a revolving door. This could be like you feel like you've opened your door to people, you've let them in, you've been there for them, you've held space for them, and then, you know, you've been drained dry, you've been left with nothing. This could be something that is sort of like cyclical. It's something you've seen play out in your family bloodline, maybe in particular with the women in your bloodline, okay? Being drained, being taken advantage of, you know, not really, you know, staying in their personal power and their sovereignty here. It's got like a feeling of being used, taken advantage of, disrespected. Look, see, also there's holes here in, you know, the breast. That reminds me of the nurturing, like all your nurturing just like spilled out. You might have felt like somebody like went for your jugular, you know, you weren't anticipating that. A giant sperm fighting a dove. Look, you know, there's something here that you need to rise above. And you might want to question a particular connection you have. You might want to question letting this person back in, especially if this person comes knocking on your door again. I think there's a new sense of insight you have here. And there's a need to really like protect your energy, like protect your energy from those who will just drain it or those who would martyr you. And don't let yourself be a martyr either, all right? There's something here about you really getting clues about what doors you need to close and what doors you should leave open, right? There's some kind of insight you're getting here. But I do feel like there's something you're cleansing away here. And you're getting a new insight about it, all right? And it's interesting. I feel like, you know, one door is closing in your life, so a new door can open, right? There is an old way that's being shed, you know. Whatever you're shedding here that's just been like, you know, piggybacking off of you for too long, I feel like it puts you back in your element, you know, that dolphin medicine there, okay, coming in. What's behind this? Yeah, you know, maybe you feel like you kind of lost touch with yourself a little bit. Maybe there's too many secrets, you know, that have been kept in a situation. Maybe somebody kept too many secrets from you. But I feel like whatever's going on here, you're ready to, you know, sort of like let it all up and out. You know, you're ready to cleanse this energy. And time's ticking on this, all right? And there might be something, you know, that is continually reached for, but like a moth to a flame, you know, this thing just leads to destruction. And time's running up on this. There's something you need to tap into here. This could be a real old connection. You could be dealing with something that, like, it's in your Akashic records. Like, there's an old karmic cycle you're closing here, and it's meant to be done. And I feel like the time is now, you know, because time's run out on this, you know, and it's about like taking back, you know, taking back time that was wasted by, you know, cutting off from that which wastes your time, that which drains you, you know. There's some door you're closing here, you know. There's some door you're closing here. Mm-hmm. And I think the wisdom here is in choosing the path of peace, all right? And cleansing away the bad blood in this situation. Cleansing away the bad blood. In some cases, it's related to spiritual work, right? You laid roots on somebody, somebody laid roots on you, all right? This could be something that's, you know, it's a family secret. Oh no, maybe you got root workers in your family. Nobody talks about it, you know? You keep up appearances. Everybody thinks that, you know, you're very traditional. You know, it's like the secret that's hidden there, right? You might also be awakening to some of your ancestral gifts, all right? Those of you who are tied to roots, lineages, all right? Got native ancestry. If you come from the motherland, all right? This might be coming through for you, all right? Aries, let's see what's coming in for you during this Jupiter in Gemini cycle. Aries, what's coming in for you in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? Aries, what is coming in for you in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? Aries, what's coming in for you in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? Aries, what's coming in for you in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What does Aries need to be aware of in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? Death, okay? There's a lot of you that are really needing to wrap up old karmic cycles, things that have been left hanging for way too long, like this should have been closed a long time ago. You could be dealing with a Scorpio. I also feel like it's so essential for you to wrap up what needs to be wrapped up here, especially because you're in the North Node position. Like, you really are meant to transform and activate your destiny here, okay? So there's something that is time to be transformed, all right? Time to be transformed. Let's see what this is, Aries. What's coming up for Aries in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What's coming in for Aries in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What's coming in for Aries in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle, Spirit? What is coming in for Aries in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle, Spirit? Ooh, that flipped up. Interesting. Ooh, all right. What's coming in for Aries in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? What's coming in for Aries in this Jupiter in Gemini cycle? All right, well, you know, maybe you were dealing with a Pisces. That's possible. This came in for them. This is now on the bottom of the deck for you, okay? You might be dealing with similar themes, okay? There might be something you're dealing with here where, you know, you're wanting a little more, you know, depth in your connections and your intimate connections. You're wanting to be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more choosy about who you share your intimate energy with. You might feel like you have a lot of untrustworthy people around you, or you have a lot of people around you that just want to take and take and take and take, and they never give anything back in return. I think, you know, there's something here that doesn't feel right to you anymore. Some of you are having trouble sleeping. Okay. Some of you are having issues with your sleep. There might be something you need to look at in regard to your mattress. You know, you might want a better mattress. I don't know why, but I got like, there could be like mold issues or some kind of allergen issues, dust, you know, something that is causing issues with your sleep, disturbing your sleep. I also feel like there's just, I don't know, there's just some energy here that feels like it's, yeah, look at this. Thief, right? Thief. This is an aggressive energy too. If you're having trouble sleeping, there might be something that's kind of like keeping you up because, you know, you got somebody who's like, you know, a little too hungry for your energy. This could be somebody who, you know, they got a hold of your heart, right? They got a hold of your heart. I also got allergies as well, okay? Allergies is coming into pollen, you know, dust, pollen. I'm getting kind of a dualistic message here. I feel like it's coming in both regards. There's something in your environment that's like an allergen, and it could be affecting your sleep, your respiratory system. It could be affecting you when you try to, you know, get some cardiovascular work in. You're finding like maybe your breathing is really labored, or you're finding you're kind of short of breath. It could be because of allergens. Okay, there might be something you need to look at in terms of your mattress. If you got an old mattress, okay, this could be anything from like toxic mold to dust, okay, to pollen. Your allergies might really be activated at this time of year, and it might be affecting your respiration. For some of you, it's cat hair, okay? Maybe you're allergic to a particular cat. Could be, you know, could be you're allergic to a particular cat, you know, it's not, you're dealing with a catty person, you know, the cat came back the very next day. Oh, I got sentience around that. Keep trying to get away from this person, man. They keep coming back to harass you. Maybe this person is like, you know, reaching out to you at all hours too. They reach out to you late at night, disrupts your sleep, you know. This could be due to pet dander, right? Pet hair, cats specifically. I don't know if you spent some time, you know, in someone's house, they have cats. Maybe you're allergic to cats. Okay, it's coming in. But I am picking up this energy. It's something environmental, all right? It's something environmental. It is dualistic, though. I'm getting both pieces coming in here, okay? It has something to do with physical environmental issues that are causing sleep disruption, okay? I'm getting the piece like somebody like reaching out to you at all hours of the night. You know, it's disrupting your sleep. It's waking you up. This person is just really grabby with your energy. This could just be energetically, like you feel like somebody is just constantly like grabbing at your energy. This could be somebody you've been intimate with, right? You may have your hackles up. You feel like, you know, you're dealing with like kind of sketchy situations. You're dealing with people who are sketchy. They're not trustworthy. They're selfish, you know. The energy's grabby. You know, it's got that mine energy. It's similar energy that came up for Pisces, okay? You could be dealing with a Pisces, possible. This could be a karmic situation. This could be a hidden enemy. This could be somebody that has your heart and they're actually rather aggressive towards you. You may feel a lot for this person. Okay, you may feel a lot for this person, but this person's kind of working you. Okay, I think whatever this is, there's something that you're pinpointing here. All right, There's a cat connection here. There's a cat connection here. I also feel like you've looked at this multiple times. You keep trying to get a different view of this situation, and you keep coming to the same conclusion, you know? No matter how many times you look at this situation, it's the same view, you know? And there needs to be a different perspective here. And there's also something that, you know, needs to be cleaned up here as well, right? Because it's affecting you. And this could be something that's going on the World Wide Web. Again, I don't know. Could this be something that's going on online that's, you know, kind of like taking over your life? Maybe you're spending too much time online. Maybe there's somebody who's keeping their eye on you online. All right. You don't see them, but you feel them. All right. This could be somebody you dealt with in the past. This could be a past intimate connection that you dealt with in the past. You feel like this person's still sneaking around. You feel like this person's still prying into your business. Right. And you still feel this person's energy. All right. I got this really strongly. Okay. So I would say, first of all, you know, get outside, spend some time in nature, you know, let more fresh air into your environment. You might want to look at getting some kind of like clean air filtration system going on here. You might want to look at allergens in your home environment. All right. I also feel like, you know, get up, you know, get out of bed, get moving. Maybe you need some cardiovascular exercise. Maybe you've been stewing on something too long. It's starting to like, you know, it's starting to have an effect on you. You know what I mean? This is like repetitive, you know, sort of cycle you go through. It weighs down your energy. You know, it's draining you. And there's some kind of energy you need to get moving here. It's connected to your heart health. Some of you are eating foods that aren't agreeing with you. You're eating foods that you're having an adverse reaction to. You got sludge in your system, you know. This could be like arterial plaque, you know. It's interesting, like our environments say a lot about our inner environment too. Like whatever is going on in our environment is also going on within us. You know, I feel like there's something here that maybe stings, maybe you feel angry about, maybe there's something here that's, you know, too pressurized. You know, get out, get exercise and get some cardiovascular in. I don't know, I'm really picking up this piece about cardiovascular with you for some reason. Heart health, respiration, you know, it's coming in. You know, something needs to be cleared out. I feel like you need to get your body moving to clear this out. And you also need to do like maybe a real like deep cleaning. Maybe you look at some kind of air filtration system and maybe clean up the diet from like sludgy kind of food, you know. It could be like your digestion's acting up at night. Could be you got heartburn coming in at night, all right? And for some of you, it's because of, you know, pet dander, you know, cat hair, cats specifically. You might be allergic to cats, all right? Interesting energy there. There's something about really like being mindful too of who you allow access to your energy. Who do you let in your environment? Who do you allow in your inner circle? You know, there's something about questioning your circle too, like the people that you have around you, the people that you let into your inner world, the people that you share personal things with, you know. Maybe these people are around just to kind of like, woo, stuff coming up in the throat there. Excuse me. Maybe these people are trying to get access to information that's private. Like maybe you need to kind of like consider who you're sharing your personal stuff with here. You know, they may be, you know, out there, you know, spreading around what you share with them privately, you know, airing out your dirty laundry. You know what I'm saying? This could be a particular woman. Okay, just with that cat energy coming in here, this could be a bit of catty energy. You may be realizing that somebody that you're familiar with, you know, is actually really catty. You know, you thought that this person was, you know, somebody that you could share your secrets with. This person's like going around blabbing all your private business. Maybe this person's even airing out intimate details, you know, about your connections, like stuff you've shared personally with them. You know, dudes can be catty too, I have to say. I would just be a little bit careful about who you're sharing private stuff with here, I have to tell you, because I feel like somebody is wanting access to like personal information about you. And in some way, they don't have the best intentions with this. You may think that, you know, your heart is safe with this person, obviously, because I feel like you've shared private stuff with this person. You've been sharing your secrets with this person. You've been, you know, letting them into intimate territory here. And this person is like casting you in a certain light, I have to say. You know, there's something you do need to be mindful of here. There's something you need to be mindful of here, Aries, okay? Clean up your environment. Clean up your connections online as well, right? Be mindful of who you're giving access to, you know, such personal territory online. You know, you can't trust everybody that you're interacting with online. I don't care how friendly, you know, somebody seems to be online, you know. Somebody can come off, you know, like, you know, your closest ally online and you know, behind the scenes that person's a freaking monster. You know, there's just something you need to be aware of here. Yeah, you know, there's something you need to be aware of here. We have a woman breastfeeding a VCR. Interesting. Yeah, you know, maybe you miss the good old days before all these technological advancements, I have to say. You know, you might want to get back to simpler times. You might be dealing with, you know, something that's really compromised your security, especially online, you know. You might be tired of, you know, sort of dealing with, you know, catfishing accounts too. You might be uncovering a catfishing account. This could be coming in for some of you. You may be talking to somebody. You may be sharing details with this person. It's somebody you met online. It's not who you think they are. Whoa. And as I said that, that just flew out the top of the deck. Birthday corpse. No, it's the return of that person from the past. Oh, they want another go around here, okay? Could be somebody who recently had a birthday. Okay, so it could be a Gemini. It could be a Taurus. All right. There's something here. Something's still lingering, okay? Something's still lingering here. You could have recently celebrated this person's birthday with them too, all right? Maybe you went to a birthday party, right? Maybe you hooked up with this person, all right? There's something going on here you need to be aware of, all right? But I do feel like there's something that needs to be cleaned up with your environment, especially as it relates to online, right? There's something you need to clean up here because somebody is prying for information from you. And they're running around, you know, gossiping, spreading the word about this, sharing intimate details. I don't trust this energy, Okay, so you got somebody here you need to be aware of. They're an aggressive individual, but I don't think they come off that way, right? I don't think they come off that way. I think whatever this is, whatever's being highlighted for you, you're missing the good old days, you know? You're missing the good old days back before, you know, there was all this technological advancement. You're starting to realize maybe, you know, maybe it's time to get back to the good old days, you know? There might be somebody you want to reconnect with, you know, before all this mess happened online too, right? I would say. All right, let's see. Cut of the deck here. What we got? My goodness. Death. Yeah, something really needs to come to a close here. There's somebody you cut something off with, okay? I feel like it's somebody who recently had a birthday, right? You think this person's, you know, not anywhere around? Oh no, you might actually be connected with them through a catfish account. They're keeping an eye on you. And there's something here, like they feel like maybe they feel like you did them dirty, you know? They want to let you know how it hurts. All right, you need to be careful with whoever this is, man. And something also about your home environment, okay? So you can have better sleep. Wow, it's really wild. Look at giving birth to a skull, all right? You keep giving this particular character another chance. Maybe you went camping with this person. Maybe you've helped this person out. Maybe you've given this person money, you know? You've been supporting them in some way, right? You recently went somewhere with this individual. You spent some time in nature with this individual. You know, there's something here that should have been done and over with a long time ago. You keep ending up at the crossroads with this energy. You keep restarting an energy that should have come to a close. It's the same old, same old. Nothing's going to change here in this situation. This could be a clue here, you know, somebody that you went on a trip with, right? You went on a trip with. I feel like it's somebody who recently had a birthday, all right? You went on a trip with this person. Maybe you ended it. Maybe you ended it, you know, with this individual. You think that they went anywhere? No, they didn't. They're still lingering around. Sex witch and octopus, okay? So this could be somebody who's like, you know, they got their tentacles on you, man. Their energy is grabby and they're up in your business, and you need to be aware of this because there's something here that should have been brought to a close a long time ago, right? This thing will hold you back, right? If you want to keep nursing this thing, you can, but it's not going to lead you to where you want to go. And you're holding up your fresh start here. Big Scorpio energy here. Taurus, Gemini energy. Okay. We also got like, you know, kind of like salmon energy here. That could be a Leo. I'm thinking of Native American birth astrology. It could be somebody born in the year of the cat, right? Could be somebody born in the year of the rat, all right? All of these could be coming in as significators, Aries. All right. And with that, we got the final one here. What's coming up for Taurus during this Jupiter in Gemini transit? What is coming up for Taurus in this Jupiter in Gemini transit? What is coming up for Taurus in this Jupiter in Gemini transit? What is coming up for Taurus in this Jupiter in Gemini transit? What is coming up for Taurus in this Jupiter in Gemini transit? What is coming up for Taurus in this Jupiter in Gemini transit? Bottom of the deck, the pantless beekeeper. Okay, somebody's getting caught with the pants down here. It's a community affair. There's buzz about it. This is somebody wanted something that seemed a little like sweet treat, and it ended up being something that stung a bit. All right. Let's go ahead and check this out. All right, Taurus, what's coming in here with this Jupiter and Gemini cycle? Yep, we got half-priced hot wings here. Okay, it seems sweet. It wasn't all it was cracked up to be. This is like got side piece vibes. It wasn't all it was cracked up to be, okay? I don't think this turned out the way you were hoping for, okay? Something about this experience, it fell flat, okay? It wasn't all it was cracked up to be. You know, we got the anthropomorphic carrot here, right? You waited for this. You know, to you, this was some kind of prized, you know, reward. This was like the golden carrot, you know? And then, you know, when you finally got what you were wanting, it just, I don't know, the experience just felt a little cheap to you. That's what I have to say. I think this is something you need to pay attention to as well. You know, what are you willing to settle for? You know, to truly have what you want, there might be something you need to cut off that doesn't quite cut it here, right? It's been interesting too. There's been like a lot of dietary stuff coming in here as well. I feel like, you know, you might want to get back to more, you know, more produce, more fruits, more vegetables, right? You might have been, you know, kind of like doing some late night eating lately. Maybe you've been on the road. You kind of been just like grabbing things on the fly, you know, eating at places you wouldn't normally eat at, right? So you might need to do a little bit of a cleanse here. I can see that, right? But I also feel like there's something that, you know, you've been really wanting, you know, and it kind of's been like a dangling carrot just out of reach. Maybe you finally got it and it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Turned out to be nothing but half-priced hot wings, okay? This might be something that's coming to light for you. This may not be something that has actually panned out yet, you know? You might, you know, be thinking that, you know, there's something here that's really desirable to you. But in some way, I feel like you might be selling yourself short without even really realizing it. And to have what you truly want or what you truly desire, maybe there's something about cutting off what doesn't, you know, doesn't fit the bill there. Why are you keeping, you know, all tabs open when you already know, you know, what you're looking for, you know? Interesting. Interesting. You know, I feel like there's something here that you know you should cut it off, but you don't want to cut it off because it's almost like you want to still have this as an option. What's this about? Let me do a cut of the deck for you, Taurus. What do we got here? Make up your goddamn mind. Okay, so you're really feeling this Gemini pull here. You're in two minds about something. Your head tells you one thing, your heart tells you another. You can't seem to make up your mind. You're Rochambeauing for it. Rock, paper, scissors, you know. You get the answer, it doesn't work. You flip a quarter, it, you know, you say if it's heads, you're going to do this. Well, it winds up heads. You don't like the answer. You go back to it again. Okay. Something here, you need to free yourself from a particular dilemma, okay, that you keep going over and over and over again here. If whatever this is making you feel so divided, then obviously it's not the thing, right? It's not the golden carrot. You hear that? Ted lapping away there. You know, there's something here about, you know, being thirsty, you know, being thirsty. You know, something has left you wanting more, but yet you still leave the door open because you don't want to cut off, you know, other options just in case. You can't be all in if you're still leaving a backup plan in place. Do you know what I'm saying? You say you want something, but you're still leaving other options open. So that's kind of being a little bit at odds with yourself. That's only going to make you feel divided. You need to make up your mind about something here. I see that. It's time you did too, because something needs to be cleansed away here. You can't operate like this. It's no good, man. It's no good. Something needs to be decided on here. And I think this is really interesting. I feel like you're going to get a visit from your future self, future grandma. Okay? It's like you're going to get to see yourself, a vision of your future self. I don't know if you're going to meet somebody. You're going to have a guide show up on your path. Somebody that's going to sort of show you what's up ahead if you continue to, like, you know, stay in this place where you don't make up your mind. I don't know. There's something here where it's like, if you don't make up your mind's going to be made up for you. And you might not like the way that turns out. And I feel like what's missing here is the heart. Like, you're too up in your head. Like, you gotta drop into your heart here. You gotta drop into what you're feeling here. I do. I feel like you're going to get a visit from your future self. I don't know if this is like you have a dream or you have a vision or you meet somebody who reminds you of you, and there's something they say to you that it's like they're giving you just like this little source of spiritual nourishment to help guide you, to help crystallize this for you, help you make up your mind about something. They're letting you know like how things can turn out. They're illuminating a little secret information for you. It's like you're getting a hot tip about your future. It's a Back to the Future moment. And it's somebody that crosses your path. It's like they're like your future self. It is. It's a little bit of timeline hopping, sort of showing you like, if you think that you have all the time in the world to make up your mind and you keep playing these games and you're not all in and you're keeping all your options open, you know, something may happen here where somebody makes up your mind for you, and they might not take as much care and attention and time, you know, to really reach this decision, because they're tired of your indecision. You might be driving somebody crazy with your indecision. And so they might make it up for you real quick. You know, not making a decision is making a decision, you know. I feel like you might not like what you end up with if you refuse to make things definitively clear here. And there might be a warning coming through for you. It feels like it's like guidance coming in. It could even be like guidance from a loved one who passed on, maybe a grandmother, you know, comes to you, you know, gives you a little view into your future. It's got kind of like, you know, Scrooge vibes. I don't know why that's coming in, you know, but it's got those kind of vibes. Like you're getting a visit from like a future self showing you like, if you stay in this position, things are going to head down this track and you're not going to like it. Okay. For some of you, this is in relation to your health. Some of you have been, you know, kind of like diverging from a health plan. For some of you, you could be kind of like hiding that you're doing some emotional eating, or maybe your doctor told you you needed to steer clear of certain foods, but you've been dealing with a lot of like stress, anxiety. I feel like because you're trying to like make up your mind about something. So maybe you're noshing out, but you're like hiding it, you know, you're eating in secrecy. Okay. Maybe you know this isn't good. Maybe you know that it's adversely affecting your health too, but this is the way you like calm yourself down. I mean, Tauruses are known to be kind of foodies, okay? So you might be noshing out a bit. You might be eating your emotions a bit, because you're sort of like disconnecting from your emotional experience. Whatever choice you're trying to make here, whatever you're grappling with here, you're trying to, you know, make it from the point of, you know, logic, okay, or reasoning. But that's because you're not allowing yourself to really sink into what you're feeling here. You're not diving into the vulnerability of this choice. And that's why you're so divided. And so you may be completely like disassociated from the more vulnerable stuff that's coming up for you here. And instead of really looking at that, feeling that, you're covering it up, you know, you're stuffing down your emotions. This could be your future self coming forward saying, hey, you know, all that work in the gym, it's going to come undone if you keep at it, right? Or next time you go to the doctor, you know, you're not going to like what they have to say, you know, if you keep at this, all right? This could be some kind of behavior you have around food. I don't know why that's coming in. It's a secret. It's a secret. Nobody knows about this. It's something you've kept hidden. You know, you really are very maybe rigid in your diet too. Maybe you've been deviating from that recently. You feel guilt about it. Some of you, it's because you're going against a doctor's orders. You know, you're not supposed to be eating like this, you know, but you're really stressed out. You got a lot of anxiety and you're comfort eating. Others of you, you know, you've had the secret for a long time. You might have some eating disordered kind of like issue. It could be anything from comfort eating to actually dealing with some kind of eating disorder, all right? Either way, you know, there's something here that, you know, needs to be looked at. This may come from like addiction, okay? You could come from a family that has like addictive tendencies. It could run in your bloodline. This just coming in. You may come from an alcoholic bloodline. Transference of behaviors, you know, is very common in addictive bloodlines. You know, you overcome one addiction, it transfers to another area. Okay, that could be. Maybe you don't, you know, drink alcohol. Maybe alcoholism runs in your family. You don't drink alcohol, but you can't stop eating the sweets. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to have a negative effect on you. But I feel like, you know, that's one issue here. It's a side issue. I feel like what's really going on is whatever this behavior is, it's because you're not getting in touch with what you're feeling. And you might be disconnecting from what you're feeling emotionally because it overwhelms you. And the key to this, to overcoming this, is to free your mind of the stress and the worry by just really dropping into your body and getting in touch with what you're feeling here. The decision that you're needing to make at this time, it can't be made with your head. It has to be made with your heart. It has to be made from a soul level. It has to be made from a source of like your gut level instinct. But there's something here that you're repressing, and there's some way here that you're trying to keep all options open. You're trying to keep yourself safe. You know, you're worried about making the wrong choice. You don't want to look like a fool. And at the same time, in not making up your mind, that is a choice. And I do feel like pretty soon here, somebody will make up your mind for you. Ted says yes on that. All right. And I feel like there is something that you're holding on to here that it's not really doing it for you. It's more like a security blanket, you know? It's out of fear. It's out of fear of making a definitive choice here. But the problem is you keep taking it up to your head, and you need to bring it down here to your heart to make this choice, right? So there's something here about when you're starting to feel like really confused and you can't make up your mind and you don't know what to do and you're feeling like torn in two. There's something about understanding that what's happening is that there's something bubbling up emotionally in you. You need to hold space for it. So steer clear of the cookies, or steer clear of the buffalo wings, or whatever it may be, or steer clear of the side pieces. This is something that's coming up in terms of like, who do I give my heart to, right? This is a romantic decision you're trying to make. Cut out the distractions. That may be your go-to, because for a while, it gives you a little freedom from the burdens of your mind, right? It can kind of just like check out, numb out for a bit. There's some kind of like addictive tendency happening here that's causing you to really bypass your emotional experience. And instead, you really need to sink into the heart of it, you know, the messiness of it all, the vulnerability of it all. Maybe, you know, shed some tears, you know, dive into that old grief. That's where you get the cleansing. And that's how you see the way through, not by avoiding it, not by repressing it, okay? We got the other side here. The Pie Knight. Look at this. I'm telling you. Okay? You know, some of you it's sweets. And some of you it's a little, you know, you want that little slice of the pie, you know? Or you like the way somebody, you know, you like the way somebody, you know, helps themselves to a slice of yours. You know what I'm saying there, okay? Don't make me go there. It is indulgence, okay? It's an indulgence. It's indulgence, though, to kind of separate yourself from what you're feeling and avoid making a decision, okay? And really here, there's something that you do need to decide before it's decided for you. And if you hold this off, you might not like the way that, you know, it balances out. So I feel like this is kind of coming in as a warning for you to make up your mind. There's something here for you. There is a golden carrot. There is some reward, but it comes through being decisive, cutting something off, right? I think whatever this is, you know, you have an opportunity to take that action as you enter Leo season, all right? But you do need to face this head on. You can't bypass it anymore, right? And please, you know, if you are having some kind of blood pressure issues or, you know, your heart health is a concern here, like, don't let it lead to a bypass. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it there, okay? Protect your health on all levels, mind, body, spirit, right? Time to get everything in alignment, not feel so divided, not feel so confused. You know what you need to do, right? You know it. You don't like the discomfort of it. But the only way we really heal and come into balance is by becoming comfortable with the discomfort, right? Then we heal. Then we find the way through. And once you finally make this choice, you're going to feel so much freedom. It's going to feel so much better, okay, Taurus? So get to it, man. Make up your mind. And the only way out is through. So be brave. Go right into the center of it. And you'll be surprised. It's the one thing that sets you free from everything that's been troubling you. Okay. Well, we went for the long haul. All right. I'm going to now have to upload this into the Creator Studio and get it all condensed so it can upload. So this will be releasing really late night for you all, but I think I've given you a lot to dive into and entertain you through the weekend, things to look at. And thank you so much for being here. We're all going to get through this. I know it's interesting times, but there's some signposts coming in. There's communication coming in. There's things that will light the way, that'll help us get through this terrain. And just know, I'm glad that you're all here finding your way with me. All right. Take care.